1 year of JustUs Podcast. Since August 2020, we've been doing episodes of these for 1 year.
Unfortunately, Fred is not with us.
Yes, sir.
He's not here. Let's just cry a while.
Oh. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the JustUs Podcast. As you can obviously tell, Fred's back after being dormant for so long.
Yes.
He's like a bear. A grizzly bear. He will come.
At last.
Eventually.
There's so much that we need to look back on when it comes to the JustUs Podcast. But first, let's go all the way back to the humble beginnings. Now, there was nothing until God said, "Let there be light." Okay, that's too far. In the beginning came a group of friends.
Wait. You're saying that we're only humble at the beginning, now we're greedy?
Well, to put it lightly, we could definitely go for 0 subscribers, which is more than a negative number, so I guess that makes sense. All right.
Bro, I'm still humble. I don't think I'm above anyone. I just think that maybe I could be God, but nothing else than that.
One day we'll all get to rule the world. One day we'll be kings.
Don't think high of yourself.
But yeah, back in July or August, we pretty much got to be friends. As pretty much showing interest in stuff like DC and other things that we liked. Throughout the few months, I thought about making a podcast, and pretty much was going to be in this Quantum Search channel, because why not give some new life into it? And of course, Tobbs and Fred were there, and we also had a few guest stars that would have appeared as well. Some got to make it in. Unfortunately, others didn't quite make the cutting room floor because reasons.
Yeah, they were like celebrities appearing in sitcoms, but probably not as funny because we are the recurrent actors, and we're not that charismatic.
Indeed. I remember when we made the first logo, how it was pretty much on the point of what I wanted to be, with my icon, Kronk representing Tobbs, Fred obviously representing Fred, and Darth Raven representing F-Dog. Now, us four, we were there from episode 1. However, if you guys remember the first episode, or the first few intros, there was Batfleck and Arrow from Green Arrow. Or was it Green Arrow from Arrow? The Arrowverse.
Yeah.
They, unfortunately, did not get to be in any of the episodes because with the guy that represented the Green Arrow, he was pretty much in a different time zone, which is understandable. In fact, the two of them were from different time zones. The other one was saying that they're going to present, contribute to the channel and whatnot. But, their name is IGDCU, by the way. They're more public. We call him Benny because, just for the sake of making a more catchy name. But...
Benny. But do not check his Twitter. You may get offended, or you may find yourself feeling a bit homosexual. Nothing else to say.
Well, nothing wrong with that. But the main problem is just the fact that he's been kind of cuckoo, shall we say? And it's funny how in the last year he said he was going to help us all out with our stuff. He even make merchandise, but now he's pretty much been reduced to talking about Batman and Robin, which you may recognize has been roasted by the two of us as well as another guest.
Yeah, that was a comeback. Betty, come on. We need to fight.
Oh, poor Benny. Anyways, yeah, episode 1 was definitely a fun one to look back on. I mean, I had to use like my earbuds with like a shitty quality mic, which made me sound muffled. Everyone else sounded decent or very good. We had music in the background which looped for an hour, and that was like when we had different
We
outro.
did.
Yeah, the production quality for episode 1 was different from everything else. I mean, that was back in the days where we used to have the old PS1 style intro.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
remember that.
And it was like definitely in back from a time where we weren't really having a proper form of ground for our stuff. Like we were still getting into the basics of it. And while this new format is not 100% perfect, I'd say it's a little more like consistent than what we got previously.
Yeah. Maybe slightly more dynamic. I don't know.
Yeah, I
We
mean,
could say that
like,
planified, but that's because we basically get used to the routine and well, life.
and then that's pretty much like how it fits with every single show. Eventually,
Yeah.
like the characters would fit in better with like the voices they're doing, or the quality of the stuff they're making. It's pretty solid if you ask me, especially if you know how to like make it work better. Whereas most stuff would usually suffer from inconsistencies. In this case, it's great that we were pretty much able to like increase as time went on. And yeah, I'd say it's been like a solid success in terms of handling that.
Yeah, but maybe we have one hater who says it is a failure. Damn it.
Well, it may be like someone named Diets Nuts.
Goes.
Oh God.
Wait, did you ever get like a comment in like hateful way?
Like a comment like that? Uh,
Yeah.
well, not really, but like then again, most of the stuff I usually get is like most of the comments go towards stuff like the more like non-podcast videos, which not a bad thing. I mean,
Oh.
definitely makes sense given the current circumstances of people having shorter attention spans and want videos that are more on the point. But in this
Yeah,
case,
that's something common on YouTube.
like back to how we did the podcast, it was kind of fun to like think about how we were obsessed with DC fandom. I mean,
Yeah, that was our first topic. Yeah, DC fandom and all the stuff that they show.
it was like a blast because that was back then when we were pretty much like obsessed with what's going on. We were curious, we were excited. Even if there was some stuff we didn't care about, it felt like an event because it felt like the perfect way to get everyone together. And, for the most part, it worked out well. Were there some hiccups in there? Sure. Like the Snyder Cut trailer being leaked and the fact that there was an intended announcement that got canceled. But it was fun nonetheless.
Yeah.
Sadly, the three of us were simpletons because we didn't know that Warner Brothers would still be a piece of shit months later.
We kind of knew that they are a piece of shit, but we didn't expect it to last so long. And yeah, it was all very controversial. It still is.
Even in the release of the movie, I mean,
Yeah.
the leak of the movie, that was
Whoa,
so.
Tom and Jerry was so dark.
And not what I expected it to be. It betrayed the source material. It's trash.
Yeah, that
So
wasn't the live
edgy.
action I was expecting. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw that movie, but it's actually so bad. Tom and Jerry, like, I'm not
No,
talking
I
about the
didn't even
Snyder
try.
Cut. I'm talking about the actual live action kind of thing. It's so bad.
Tell you the truth, I never really cared much about Tom and Jerry's like movie because it didn't really feel like it needed a movie. I mean, there's not much you can do with a movie unless you're like one of those like short budget animated films. You know the one where
Yeah.
we have like one guy that says, "We've got to have money." Like that makes more sense. Like it's at a respectable size, whereas this, no, chief, it ain't it.
Nope. Besides, I think since since like the 2000s, Tom and Jerry should have just stopped making animations because oh boy, like maybe some movies were good or okay, but just
Yeah.
all the shows are so mediocre. Makes me sad.
And the movie pretty much sums up like why Tom and Jerry should just be an evergreen brand instead of trying to be like a big IP that would be on the same level as what they're putting out of date.
Yeah.
It's funny how that works. But back to DC fandom of 2020, like there was a lot to be excited for, you know? Like we already mentioned the Snyder Cut. We were like optimistic on the other stuff like Wonder Woman 1984, the Batman, the games.
The game?
Yeah,
Well,
Suicide Squad versus Justice League, Gotham
Yeah,
Knights.
the video games.
that video game, yeah.
And they haven't released any of them, right?
Not yet. I think Suicide Squad versus Justice League will come out in the winter
Oh,
season
yeah.
or fall, whereas Gotham Knights has
Yeah.
been pushed to 2022, which is kind of a surprise. But I guess because one of them's tied into the Sus Squad and the other one's tied into the Battinson, like I guess that would make sense to keep them close to within the film's release without like jeopardizing one or the other. Because, well, back then we used to have video games that tied in with the movies. But in this case, they're like not on the same page in terms of release schedule.
Not anymore.
Yep. And if you wanted to make yourself like a video game tie-in, like a movie tie-in video game, tough luck. It's got to be a mobile app. Sad.
Wait, I remember there was a mobile game for Suicide Squad, the first one. You know, the
Oh,
studio.
yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like,
And I think I downloaded it, played
It was
it
a shooter.
for it. Yeah, it was a shooter. I played it for 1 hour and then I uninstalled it.
Yeah.
yeah,
See?
it like it's fine, but it makes you want a proper video game. I mean, like a movie is not going to have the same sort of duration as a video game. But listen, come on, man! Like, give us something meaty.
Hmm.
I remember that when BVS was announced, well, I mean, we're going to release, it was a game that it was like Subway Surfers, but with the Batmobile.
The what?
Yeah. I mean, it was a game when you were in the Batmobile and you can, well, you're on the road and get coins, right? That concept.
What the fuck? I
Yeah.
don't remember that one.
And the thing is that like Batman v Superman has less video game potential apart from DLC skins. So like
Yeah.
that was definitely going to be a weird game. Not that I want BVS to have like a video game, but at the same time, if you're going to make one, make it feel like it's a proper game.
Yeah, I mean, they just do whatever.
Like make an arcade. Like make an arcade where you like tap a screen and like in some sort of point and click sort of situation and have your character punch the villains or have him like block and punch Superman or Batman in a fight.
Like an Injustice game?
Yeah, kind of like that.
Injustice mobile game?
Yeah, kind of like that, but for BVS. I don't know. It's just weird. Like you're so limited on resources for this
I don't know
game.
if it will work.
It's just funny how it works. And speaking of funny how it
Yeah,
works, we did not cover Suicide Squad. on the first ever episode. Like we talked about everything else, but that.
Oh, we didn't talk about JustUs Squad.
Yeah, we never talked about it on the on the channel because like that was kind of funny because I was expecting someone to like bring it up, and so I'd be like, oh, all right, we'll talk about it, but no one did.
Well, we were too excited about everything else, but to be honest, today, if I had to say like talk about Wonder Woman 84 or talk about the Suicide Squad, I would pick the Suicide Squad because Wonder Woman was so bad.
Yep,
I don't
and
even consider that a movie.
neither film has been reviewed on the podcast. Thank God. I mean, we covered Studio Squad, but mainly because we wanted to bring awareness of how we thought about the film back then compared to today, and as well as bring up the Ayer cut. If you haven't read or seen our thoughts on that, I recommend checking it out.
Yeah, was it like the last episode?
Yeah,
Yeah, check it out.
and Wonder Woman 1984 doesn't need to be reviewed. We'll just like review the 2017 movie next year when it turns 5. It's a much superior film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, please.
and I can't wait to talk about like the third act and like the annoying nature of people saying, "Oh, it's the best DCU movie just because it's like not as dark or has a high Rotten Tomato score." It's like, come on, there's more to that than just two things.
At least everyone hugs at the end. Huh? Love.
If only they can give me if only they can give us like $500 so I can spend it on uh spaghetti. But moving on, yeah, DC fandom was very fun to look back on, especially if you're someone that's been very uh like obsessed with what's going on. It felt pretty solid, if you ask me. But I don't think the new like upcoming DC fandom will be the same.
Yeah, honestly,
Yeah, I mean,
the fandom, not the DC fandom, the fandom is more disrupted than that last year. And I think that a great portion of it, so maybe, well, exclusively talking about the Snyder fans, they are probably not too excited. Only thing I kind of look forward to in from my point of view is the Batman, but because I keep hearing good things about the trailer and
yeah.
stuff, but everything else just doesn't get my attention.
As for me, expect me to like look back on some of the stuff that actually felt more worth my time in the podcast. I doubt I'll review the
Yeah.
Batman, but I guess if Walter Hamada apologizes and gives himself the boot, and if we get the Batflick stuff, then maybe. But don't count on it for now.
Well, I mean, in my case for this fandom, I would say that I am a little bit optimistic. Well, in a way, I'm just curious what they are going to do with all this stuff, because
Yeah.
I mean, it could be bad, could be good, but I love these characters. I mean, I
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah.
I saw
But
the Wonder Woman movie, the Wonder Woman 2. I'm not gonna say that the name of that movie. That I saw that movie because I like the character, but please don't mess up. Please, not that again. Please, I just want good movies. Just
Yeah,
that.
maybe they do like an announcement of at least what the main antagonist will be in Wonder Woman 3. Who knows?
Walter Hamada,
I don't
Jeff
know.
Johns, Joss
I don't
Whedon,
know.
Walter Hamada.
I'm
John
not sure
Berg,
because
Toby
I
Emmerich.
nobody is with Star Wars. I guess Rose Squad with the Rose Squad. I don't know if
Oh,
she
yeah.
finished with that serious movie. I don't know what it's meant to be, but I'm not sure if
Yeah.
they're going to show something about the third movie. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. I doubt it. But maybe, who knows? Because they kind of
Yeah,
did that with Aquaman back then, and James Wan was working on another film. So maybe they kind of tell us some or show us some hints of what the fuck is gonna happen.
maybe some
Wait
concept
for
arts could be.
Yeah, concept arts. Exactly.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, the same way they do with the Flash. Yeah, last year they did that with Flash.
wait for
Just concept art.
for is that for like the trench?
Oh, did they show something of Trench?
I have no idea. I forgot so much. It's like Warner Brothers doesn't know what to do, and pretty much shows. I think maybe they can at some point like help us tie our shoes, but I don't want to trust them with tying them up and make the wrong knots. But that's pretty much DC fandom. After that, we talked about the War for Cybertron Siege chapter, and you already know my thoughts on like the War for Cybertron Netflix series. I already covered it in that review. I covered it in Earthrise's review on January, and last episode was with Kingdom. That series sucks. Big time.
Trilogy.
Like, it's something you could easily get excited for, but people are mainly obsessed with it just because it's G1, but dark and gritty. And Kingdom has Beast Wars characters, but I seen better from the franchise. It's like, like guys, like I'm not saying that they have to do this and this and this and this, but I like they want to make themselves look like the best thing ever. They need to prove it, but they didn't. Slow voice acting, weak animation, underwhelming storytelling, and a huge emphasis on trying to make itself look like it's so cool, but at the same time, it's just so laughable. Like, you know why Transformers Prime's tone worked?
I love that show. I mean, I guess it was, the style it has. I'm more interested about those characters than the Netflix one. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of the OG design.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Like, Prime itself had more life put into it. Like, obviously, I kind of get annoyed when people say that, oh, they grew up with this version of Transformers or they're huge fans, even though they only give attention to one version of a character. Like, J.J. Abrams says, oh, I like Star Wars. I'm a huge fan, but he basically recreated Force Awakens to be like A New Hope.
Yeah.
Like, understandable for marketing, but at the same time, it's like, where's my money going? But the writers of Prime at least knew how to make a good series. It felt more than just a TV show version of the movies. It felt like its own thing. You have new characters, like new interesting takes on characters, and you have a much more like engaging story as well as amazing voice acting.
Yeah, we had all that debate previously, and like I said back then, in your position, I would be as disappointed as you because you know what I think about good products and treating your fans as they deserve, and it's just sad.
Indeed. And the biggest aspect of the War for Cybertron trilogy is just how obsessed it is with trying to talk down to its audience instead of treating them with respect. They think people will eat it up just because it's G1 and dark and gritty, or that like people will accept it because it has the word anime in it, and no, it's not a fucking anime. Like if like the camera style looks like it's an anime, then that's just to make it look super cool, because they think cartoon is for kids. Even though you look at something like Star Wars or Clone Wars, and it's more than just a kids show.
Thinking about the kids.
Think about the kids.
Like George Lucas and David Filoni definitely went above and beyond with the Clone Wars, much like how Jeff Klein and another writer whose name I'm forgetting did like tremendous works for Prime. Sure, they may look like kid shows on the outside, but they excel in the quality, the storytelling. 10 years ago, we got that as well as a tremendous Dark of the Moon movie and something that was for kids but was actually pretty decent, Rescue Bots. And for the older fans, we also got the War for Cybertron video game. And it's kind of funny how you go today and sure, the toys are better, although not as fun or exciting because it's all reused parts or downscaling and more expensive stuff. But the only pieces of media we have to get excited for is just like a mediocre Netflix series. God knows what we're going to get from Paramount with the movies and Nickelodeon shows that we know nothing about. I know the pandemic's a thing and all, but it's like I just hope that whatever we get in the future, we get more more fascinating stuff to sink our teeth into.
Yeah.
And
Nick.
yeah,
And now
nostalgic.
that we're talking about Nick, they're trying to do their own their own Smash Bros. I mean,
Yeah,
you saw that.
yeah, we should definitely review that. But I guess the only other Nick related thing we have to talk about is just Ren and Stimpy. That was an out of blue topic, honestly, looking back.
But I did like it. I enjoyed talking about a cartoon. And
Yeah.
also, going back to what Fred said, the only person smashing or sliming a Nickelodeon is Dan Schneider.
No, that's
Well,
I remember
well,
that.
actually, if you were to think about it, Nickelodeon's logos are feet sometimes.
They used to be feet, not
Yeah.
anymore, but yeah, they were. And that is not
Imagine,
comforting. Like,
imagine this. They make their Master Hand equivalent Masterfoot and Crazyfoot. They make them the final bosses of your adventure mode or your story mode. They fight similarly to them, except they stomp and they smell bad, and they have fungus in them, which is gross, but hey, Nickelodeon. And you can make Dan Schneider like your antagonist. That'd be perfect for a campaign mode.
The mind behind.
Exactly. But
yeah,
real
Dan
talk,
Schneider half the face of a villain.
yeah, like real
Yeah,
talk, I am actually
a
excited
kind of
for.
Bowser could be.
Yeah, but like real talk, I actually am excited about All Star Brawl. It looks fun, looks promising. I do hope we get some like uncommon Nickelodeon characters. I mean, we need our boy Hugh Neutron as well as his son Jimbo. Like Jenny from My Life as a Teenage Robot would be great. Uh, did they show Aang from Avatar?
Will they have a character from Avatar?
I think they did.
Mhm. I don't know.
I'm checking them now. Here they have Michelangelo, Sandy, Nigel Thornberry, Helga, Sim, Danny Phantom, SpongeBob, of course, Patrick. Well, yeah.
Like,
But we need Cosmo and Wanda, of course.
yeah, exactly.
Without them, I wouldn't buy that. No, sir.
Although you're gonna have to like make them as your assistant characters, kind of like a Pokemon trainer. You have like Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle. And in this case, Timmy Turner can either have Cosmo, Wanda, or Poof fight against him.
Yeah.
They each have different powers from one another. Like Cosmo can
Sorry,
be.
but you know Poof.
No one likes that character. I mean, then again,
I hope that's the baby
That's a
that
special
Cal
movement.
always says he's punching.
I mean, to be fair, like I forgot about that character because the later stuff of Fairly Odd Parents is not that great. But I think other characters I'd like to see would be like I don't know if Ren and Stimpy were announced yet, but include them, include characters from My Real Monsters, include Ultra Lord, include Crimson Chin, include Reptar, at least include a Power
Yeah, that
Ranger.
would be great.
Doesn't matter which one it is, and get this. A guy on YouTube wanted Goku and Optimus Prime to be in the game because Goku had Dragon Ball GT on Nicktoons, and Optimus Prime because Paramount is owned by, or Viacom owns Paramount and Nickelodeon, and to give attention to the new Transformers cartoons coming soon on Nickelodeon.
Oh.
But the question is, like, which one would they use? Are they going to use G1 because that's more recognizable? Are they going to put the cartoon versions from Nickelodeon in whatever they're going to do? We don't know. We don't know. Like, no one knows what they're going to do with Transformers and Nickelodeon.
No.
And or will they just use him in Rise of the Beasts, which looks like the Bumblebee movie design, but with like silver on the windows and a more like movie-like design? Like, we don't know, but it will be interesting to see.
Yeah.
And ironically, we did not talk much about Ren and Stimpy. But like I said, definitely out of the blue. But it did show that we were willing to diversify our topics.
Yeah, next week we're going to talk about the Afghanistan conflict.
Ooh, nice.
I can't wait for Microsoft Sam to be like, on the next episode of the JustUs Podcast, the team will be talking about the Afghanistan conflict. They think it's very sad. They think Joe Biden is too busy licking his ice cream cone. Spoiler alert, he's licking like Obama's hamburger sussy balls. Oh my god!
I say you taste good.
And guys, please.
Okay.
I just want to say something. Okay?
Yeah.
Give me a second. That this is just the tip of the iceberg, as Stone Holland said.
Oh my god.
Like,
Oh my god.
No.
That's
no,
nuts.
no,
That is
no,
nuts.
no.
That's nuts.
I have this. I don't know if it works too.
Just more bass. Basado.
that evil laugh you're having right now.
Oh,
did you guys hear about the Kanye West album that apparently got leaked by
Donda?
Donda.
They were
Donda is his name,
obsessed.
Yeah.
They were obsessed. Like, I know some acquaintances that were obsessed with it coming out because he took so long. Then it got leaked. Then it took him like so long. And then like he's gonna sue the company and make him take it down.
That is a very Kanye move. Like that is a very Kanye situation. It's perfect.
It's like, it's funny too because like, it's like, what do they want to do? They're like, they go back and forth on what to do, and it's funny how it turned out. What a moment.
That dude wanted to be a president of one of the biggest nations in the world.
This dude.
Oh,
no!
Let's not talk about Double C on this video, on this channel. He's banned unless we can use him for some memes, but not reference him directly because I don't like him. Double C can GTFO, and that sounded pretty lame. So moving on, video games. That was like out of order, but like video games, we went everywhere with talking about video games, just as a way to experiment on how we can talk about like the surface level of a topic matter instead of going all in on a specific one.
Yeah, well, along the show we talk about the Crush, the 4, I guess, Lost in Time. I don't remember the title of the movie of the game. Then we talk about I don't remember.
Yeah, I remember that M-Dog.
Paper Mario. I mean, the collection of Mario, the Super Mario All Stars.
Yeah, like those were when we did like
Doom Eternal. Yeah.
Yeah, Doom Eternal too.
That was like pretty much like us we went into like specific subject matters, whereas back then we used to be more about like in that segment we were pretty much talking about like video games in general. Like there was no
Yeah,
specific choice. I wouldn't mind going into that at some
even the
point.
Xbox
Yeah,
console.
I wouldn't mind doing that again with like talking about like the surface level of something else. Like I want to delve into like the way kids shows would be stacked up to one another, or like the current situation of stolen prototypes of Transformers, or scalper price bullshit. That'd be great just to talk about those without going into too much of a specific subject matter.
Hmm.
Monday
Yeah,
we'll do it.
we we even talk about Tarantino, man. It's a great video game.
I think that my favorite two topics were cuties and fantastic
Yeah,
by far.
which is true, but Cuties is never been covered on the
Speaking of the
podcast.
scene of
Oh, it
just a
wasn't
second.
for the. Oh no, right. Like it was a follow up. We recorded it
Yeah,
as a follow up, and then you uploaded. Yeah,
it's just
Yeah,
sorry, my bad. But
a
still,
DLC, a
my
DLC.
favorite two topics are those.
indeed. Additionally, like what worked about those is the fact that like well the Cuties one definitely was like separate, but Lunar Archivist, if you're watching this, I hope you enjoyed the like Cuties like review commentary that we made, since I linked it to you and I even tagged Tobbs as well as another friend of mine.
Oh, on Twitter, I gave it a like.
Yep. But
I think for had like maybe an internet problem. He suddenly, yeah,
there we
here
go.
it is.
There we go.
I
But
don't know what happened.
yeah, it's weird when that happens. Always be on the lookout.
Yeah,
But yeah, quite a lot of stuff that I talk about in episode one. Episode two was definitely a little more like mundane in terms of like making more consistent. Like most talk about movies, but the only like out of the blue one was the allegations on content creators.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that was maybe the one that had a more intense uh, subject. Like it was a more intense subject than talking about movies or TV shows or video games, but it was still interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah, I wasn't there, but I listened the episode when it came out, right? But yeah, it was very very interesting. You
certainly
know,
more interesting
all
than
those.
New Mutants and Man of Tomorrow, because New Mutants was like pathetic. Like it was definitely a really bad X Men movie, and Man of Tomorrow was just like vanilla.
Dude,
Yeah.
that movie's forgettable. I forgot it existed.
Same. And I still can't believe
Yeah,
that Superman looked like a character from Archer from FX.
Yeah, you said that back then.
Tenet, on the other hand, was interesting because it was like a very strange movie to look back on. And but I think people were more obsessed, like more like aware of like or remember bashing Christopher Nolan just because he wanted to release the movie during the pandemic, and as well as like throw shade at it when they try to say, "Oh, I like Christopher Nolan, but I don't like this movie," more than they do the actual movie.
Yeah, I think that probably some of the hate that movie got is because of the context. And to be honest, it may not be like one of the strongest Christopher Nolan movies, but I actually really liked it back then. I don't
yeah.
think I
Same
talked
here,
about
but
I don't think I talked about it in the podcast because I didn't watch it at that time, but afterwards I was like,
yeah.
wait, this movie is good or even great at in
Mhm.
some aspects. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Same. I mean, you know, I guess some people have this problem that if they don't even try to understand, I mean, I know, yeah, the Christopher Nolan movies, of course, are not simple, never, but But you can try to understand and maybe tell someone to explain you, and then you can enjoy better. The movie if you don't really work your mind. but but I mean, it was a really great movie. I mean, I really love it. Well, of course, it has those things that Christopher Nolan always do that blows your mind, but I can even understand what he's trying to do. I mean, it was like, oh, I don't understand anything of this movie. I hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if your brain is made of poop and you don't want to understand, then maybe you can just enjoy the practical effects or enjoy the music,
Yeah,
which was also awesome.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true.
Yeah, especially the
Has to be
reverse
said.
segments. It's like Christopher Nolan's like a puzzle that's hard to figure out. That's like holding a Rubik's cube. You're trying to like understand it, but you kind of like lose track, and you kind of like don't know what to do next, aside from restart. So props to
Yeah.
that sort of like mind games or brain teaser. Yeah, episode 2 was solid. Episode 3, we pretty much like did a similar thing, but we talked about a video game, Mario 3D All Stars, which a year later I still think is a solid like purchase. But if you already have them on like emulator or on the original hardware, then you don't really need them.
Yeah.
And I still stand by the fact that they were trying to play it safe in some regard because, well, it would be cool to see like a much more 3D enhanced Mario 64 rendition. That's like the promo stuff. I can see why Nintendo would want to try and keep it safe for the nostalgia types. Even though they're not going to really give a fuck, they're just going to be like, "Oh wow, this is really cool." But maybe they should run a poll. They should run a poll to see if they want Mario 64 and everything else to be redesigned from the scratch. Who knows what would have happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, we also talk about the Avengers game.
Yeah,
The famous Avengers game.
Another forgettable thing.
it was alright,
Yeah, I
but
mean,
it's like the Avengers is a
but
big
now people are
property.
talking about it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
because of the DLC.
No.
Like,
Yeah, but I mean the DLC and whatever. But where is my fucking experiment that they said that it was going to appear, but now
it's like
Well,
weird.
he died.
And like I think the most recent thing is the fact that we got DLC for uh
You have like a weird echo, Fred.
yeah,
Yeah, but it's funny.
yeah. I think it kind of sums up like the way we think of the Avengers game. It's just what. But hey, Black Panther has a DLC. Like nearly a year later after it came out. But it's like I want to like it, but at the same time, my expectations are kind of weird to place it in because you expect more from something that's big like the Avengers. Regardless of your thoughts on the
yeah, I
MCU,
mean the potential.
like regardless of your thoughts on the MCU, you at least expected it to have this massive impact. Alas, it is not the case.
No, I don't think anyone in my social circle played that game. Like, I haven't heard an opinion at all. It's just, it feels like it is from another world. I don't know why.
I had a friend that he played that game, and he got bored with the first 5 minutes. He just left
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I mean,
Damn.
no, he didn't enjoy it.
Indeed, I can't blame him if that's the case. And we also talked about from there Transformers Cyberverse. I still stand by the fact that Cyberverse is a decent series. Like, not my top 5 or top 10, but it is great to watch. I will, like, if you're gonna see Cyberverse, it's free on YouTube, but season 1's kind of boring. 2 and 3 are great, but I recommend watching them binged then one by one because they're very short.
Yeah.
You should
Especially,
make a show list and
yeah,
then share it with the people that are interested.
yeah. Cyberverse itself is
I
like
don't know.
not too shabby,
Good work.
but I think season 1 would be like much better if it was like a TV movie. because it's mostly just Bumblebee and Windblade running away from the Decepticons, trying to look for the Ark. And if you like shorten up some of the filler, you can definitely get yourself a solid movie out of it. Whereas season 2 and 3 feel like
So
normal TV shows, but with shortened episodes.
yeah, so you say it's more movie worth than TV show.
Yep. And like another topic was about Ray Fisher and his battle with Warner Brothers. It's still going on to this day.
1 year, and those motherfuckers still don't speak a word.
I still
Yeah, such
I still stand by the
such a
fact that
sad
like
thing.
if they claim to care about diversity and
Yeah,
if they care about like supporting black artists or black actors, why are they like removing one of them, especially when like Ray Fisher is popular with people? Like,
yeah, because
Yeah,
I mean, before the movie, was released, people always hate his role in the Justice League movie. But now that they know that he has all that potential, I mean, I I was in love with the character. I mean, he was the heart of the movie. I mean, now people don't blame him for his role, but now is something else. I mean, he's so annoying with that case. I mean, who wouldn't? I mean, it's a really complicated case that it needs to be heard to everybody because now that they are talking about diversity and all that stuff, that
yeah,
it's okay. Yeah, I mean, it's good to have the diversity and all the things, but what happened with no with that case? I mean, they really need to solve it because it's
yeah.
really
But
sad
the
to
people
to
behind that,
see that character. That it was going to appear to the Flash. I don't know if it's still going to appear in the Flash, but
no, I don't think
no,
he
I
will.
no,
They
he's
removed him
not. I don't
outright.
think. So.
yeah, I mean, I'm really sad for it for thing. I mean, I really love that interaction. I mean, more about the characters. Uh, I love how he is because I sometimes I watch the live streams and he's a really great guy. I mean,
He's
he
cool.
don't deserve all this hate that he has.
He's like super chill. But what I want to
Yeah,
say that the people who are behind all of that are all the bigoted tools that don't understand shit.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
anyone who sides with those people and don't side with Ray Fisher basically don't have any type of self love or self respect, and they are sad individuals. Because man, if you were in that same position, if you got just the minimal amount of self love, you would do the same.
but
You would
hey,
do exactly
definitely.
the
but
same.
hey, Black Superman movie.
Uh,
Yay. Uh,
Yay!
I don't care. Give me the Cyborg movie.
hey,
Like, give love to Static Shock. Like, give us, like, Jon Stewart. Give us Martian Manhunter.
mhm.
If you want Superman, use Henry Cavill again. He wants to be in the role.
Yeah,
Warner Brothers is, like, so fucking confused. I feel sorry for all the poor suckers, I mean loyal fans that say, oh, we eating good. Then they complain about how their other characters aren't represented as much. I feel sorry for them. But speaking of
yeah.
good DC content, Joker was covered in episode 4. I still think that like it doesn't really need much of a sequel, but
No, dude,
like
no.
Yeah, I think the
on its
same.
own, it's a great like Elseworld story. Definitely gives you a new perspective on this version of the character because like Joaquin Phoenix's Joker may not be accurate to the comics as other versions are. At least it shows off the fact that this guy has a fucked up life. And as an example, what happens when someone with a fucked up life becomes a very, uh, like, a very dangerous being.
Hmm.
Yeah, and even still today, that movie has a lot of impact. So that's what makes a movie good. When it's still
Yeah,
you still have memory of it. It's like it has some cultural impact worldwide, and you still make parodies or talk about it. It doesn't matter how, but you still do.
yeah,
It is
Yeah,
kind of what
yeah.
happened with Batman v Superman, and that's why it got loved progressively.
hmm
in time they will
And that
join him in
happened
the
when you
sun.
let someone, you know, tell the story that he wants. I mean, Todd Phillips made an incredible job with this Joker. I mean,
Hmm.
until now, as you said, it's now. I would say that it's an iconic character. I mean, now for the popular culture. I mean,
Yeah, for
it has
pop
a lot of
culture.
impact.
I
Yeah.
mean, like we've seen people dress up as the Joker in some instances, dance on the stairs. Memes are still being recited. It's pretty much like great stuff, and even if we had to deal with like the annoying nature of the so-called alt-right obsesses over Joker mindsets, like that was pretty cringy. But then again, we're dealing with modern journalists who are shit anyhow, regardless of what their point of views on the movie are. But yeah, Joker is a great film and definitely the best like non Snyder, non like pre like non pre Justice, non uh, post Justice film we got, if that makes sense. Because like I know I sometimes say Aquaman was the best post Justice DC movie, but that's mainly within like the whatever verse that we get. Whereas Joker itself feels like it's a different league. It's a masterpiece, and well, I wouldn't want a sequel per se. I would like to see them at least make higher quality films that aren't just trying to win for minimum effort.
Wait, how did you used to call Joaquin? Like you said, Hawker. What did you?
Quacker, Quacker, or just
Joe
Joker.
Joiker.
I hope you don't call him. I hope you don't call him Joaqueer, because that would be that would be
I
kind of uncomfortable.
mean,
A queer Joker?
to be fair, being in like being with the Joker
No.
in the live show with Murray would be uncomfortable because, well, you all saw the build up. You saw like the way he went up to the guy, the way he, from going
Hmm.
from saying how about another joke, Murray, to saying said joke to outright shooting him.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're still waiting for the punchline.
Well,
yeah,
at least he got
dude.
what he fucking
Come
deserved.
on,
Uh,
bad comedian.
After Joker, we talked about Beast Morphers, which is funny because even though we're currently in Dino Fury, I still have some of the memories of Beast Morphers in like from the nostalgia I have because if you guys remember, back in 2018, Hasbro bought Power Rangers from Bandai. They bought the franchise, they own it now. And Beast Morphers was like held with high regard at the time because it was different from Neo Saban. But the second season kind of went to a little more like been there, done that feel to it, apart from the like Easter eggs and the crossovers. But that being said, I still like Beast Morphers to some extent. Not as much as everything from In Space to RPM, mind you, but for what it is, it's a fun show, and I can't really hate it that much.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
like a typical show that you just watch it and you can have powerful feelings with it, but you still enjoy it.
Yeah,
yes.
I think the earlier episodes were my favorites because they felt more serialized. Whereas season two doesn't feel quite as serialized apart from the crossover stuff and from when we got to the finale, which felt pretty rushed, I have to say. Like, I don't hate it, but at the same time, you don't really get much of an impact because we go from the Rangers going up against Evox or Vengeance in a short fight to Steel dying within a few first few minutes of the episode to the Megazord battle, which felt very short, to like the end of Evox, revival of Steel, then an epilogue in 22 minutes. It needs a little bit more to it. It felt kind of rushed.
Hmm.
But that being said, I still liked Beast Morphers. But I think what got me more excited was like owning the merchandise because Goldbusters merchandise was pretty like fun to look at, and I always wanted to have Power Rangers equivalents. And I think when it comes to Power Rangers, Beast Morphers, like Hasbro stuff was like not 100% perfect, but it was still nice to own nonetheless. And fun fact, because the Zords were hard to find, they only can get like the dual changes in Target and the triple changers online. I got my Racer Zord from Mexico when I went there on vacation.
Yeah, with this topic, I mean, I guess we start with Beast Morphers, right? And then we have a lot of Power Rangers a long time with the
Yeah.
podcast. I mean,
Yeah.
we talk about I remember Samurai, the Power Rangers Samurai, right?
Yeah, we'll get to
Then
that soon.
Dino Fury.
Yeah, we'll get to those in a bit because we talked about more cape shit with Venom and the boys.
Yeah, I remember
Oh,
Fred
yeah.
being so like hyped up and excited when he talked about that. And I think it was this year I finally watched it, and yeah, it was like worth that hype.
Yeah.
There's still a small part of me that feels like it's like a smug jab at BVS, but when you set that aside, it definitely is like a nice high budget show. It doesn't pull its punches, and more importantly, it like puts a big appreciation on TV shows that involve superheroes.
Yeah.
Because like the feel of it is definitely like bigger than say something like your CW, like especially considering the fact that it doesn't have those limitations that the CW normally has to contend with.
But you're saying it has something similar with the CW shows?
No, what I'm saying is that it doesn't feel as like pulled back as the CW. It feels like
Oh yeah,
it's much better handled.
yeah, of course.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I think that at least the people who are behind this show is has a brain, let's say.
Yep. And Venom, which yeah, we know for a fact that the sequel's coming out next month or the month after that, or will be pushed back again because of the Delta variant. Even though certain movies are still performing well because of the Delta variant, only Suicide Squad got that issue. Funny how that works. But first Venom movie. Remember when we used to like go crazy for it back then? Like I remember back when Venom first came out, I was like obsessed with it because it felt like the kind of Marvel movie I was hoping for after being stuck with the MCU. Which I don't want to act like it's like the worst thing ever. We've already went through those memes, all those like jabs, but you could want something a little different from what we've been getting from Disney and Marvel. And I appreciated Venom for being different. Is it the best movie ever? No. There are some things that are kind of
I don't think so.
like there are some things that feel kind of like kind of weak. But what I like about the fact is that the film itself felt a little more like reminiscent of the old days of Marvel. Not the 60s, but the 2000s.
Yeah.
Venom's appearance was great to see, especially when, even if I'm a big Raimi fan, I still think that like Spider-Man 3's Venom was pretty weak as far as the physical form was concerned. This Venom feels bigger, beefier, monstrous, and could easily go toe to toe with Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I think that will be a good rivalry. Probably the best one. Not Tom Holland because
Oh no, man, please don't.
his ass would get whooped.
Yep. He'd more likely like wet his pants and start screaming for no, not Mr. Stark, no, not Mr. Fury, maybe Mr. Strange.
Yeah, now it's Mr. Strange Sugar Daddy.
Yep. Oh man. Man, Venom itself isn't a
He
perfect movie.
he has daddy issues.
Like Venom isn't a perfect movie by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, it definitely has like some wonky script issues, but at least the cast itself had fun doing it, and what we got overall was an impressive movie that, well, yes, it is a popcorn movie. I mean, then again, they're all popcorn films. It felt like
Yeah.
a much more happy experience. And hey, compared to when I saw Justice in theaters, which was not many people, Venom was packed. Everyone was like sitting on the stairs. Even we had our seats reserved, obviously, but it was just fun to watch, and everyone was
Jay?
much happier at that time. And some of us even stayed behind for the like the post credit scene or like the mid credit scene with Spider Verse being hinted at.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That was a good time overall. God, I miss 2018.
Pre-pandemic.
Yep, pre-pandemic, pre-Roosevelt bullshit. Much simpler time. Episode 5, fuck, I forgot to mention. Episode 2 was when we had a guest. Ernie, aka Illini Guy 34, was there. It was a good time overall. Episode
Oh,
5 had another guest called the Tinfoil Jester, and they mainly talked about Crash 4 and Twitch streamers because of their experience with those, while we filled in with Alita Battle Angel and Batman Death in the Family.
yeah, I remember if the watched the movie before anyone, I guess. Or no.
He basically was the only voice that could give an opinion on that. And later on, I
was
watched
it. It was curious.
Yeah, it was very interesting.
You can choose, the way it goes and all this stuff. Very interactive.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of a nice way to go on.
Oh, the concept itself was very original, but maybe didn't have like a lot of track to it. I don't know, like people weren't too enthusiastic about it. I don't know why.
I think the main reason is because people have a bigger attachment to the original Under the Red Hood.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't blame it per se, but I at least appreciate them making the interactive scenes like an incentive, like a bonus, to make it feel a little more interesting than what it otherwise would be.
Yeah.
Now, Alita Battle Angel, on the other hand, is more of my style. Normally, like adapting anime and manga is hard to do, and even if I'm not a anime or like a otaku or weebu purist, whatever, I've seen stuff that's been really shit. Alita Battle Angel, on the other hand, is not shit because the people behind the movie not only have like passion for the IP, but they also know what kind of franchise to work with. Alita Battle Angel is very small as far as the content is concerned, so what they made is a very appropriate length for the movie, and it works very well.
Yeah, it really one of the most solid origin stories for a possible franchise, and it didn't get a sequel. So that's kind of frustrating.
Look, I think we already know our thoughts on Disney being a mega corporation as well as their buyout on Fox. But I can at least give them some respect if they made an Alita Battle Angel 2. Same tone, same quality. You know, like, okay, there's less to expect from the tone or like the quality of Alita Battle Angel. I mean, we can be more concerned about how they're going to handle Alien or Predator by making them PG-13. But Alita Battle Angel has nowhere near the same sort of like requirements that those two franchises have. I mean, okay, maybe we're not for the same demographic that those are. Those are mainly for like 80s kids or 80s like movie viewers. But you get where I'm going at.
Yeah.
Either way, it was definitely an amazing experience overall. And considering the fact that Alita Battle Angel was deserving of a new like an expansive franchise, I'd say that the people behind it like deserve more than just a pat on the back, but access to making a trilogy possibly for Alita because it's ripe with potential. and the cast that we got was like amazing. Yeah.
Then on episode 6, we talk about the uncanny X-Men. Yes, sir.
Well, not
Yes,
quite,
sir.
because we still talked about like Crash 4, which I think is still a
Oh,
solid
sure.
game, but I think people mostly remember like the different aspects of it. But I haven't played it for a long time. What about you guys?
No, it's been since forever.
I can't blame you.
I don't know.
And Twitch streamers suck. Well, the good ones are fine, but we already know for a fact that they're very controversial when it comes to having simps, as well as having like notorious natures when they say a bad word and get called out by their audience. I think one of them gets
Yeah,
banned.
let's stick to VTubers and be all weeps or catboys and live with happiness.
Well, can I at least like have can we at least have some VTubers like run around the screen so I can like play smack the VTuber with a fly swatter?
No, who's
uh,
like the lolly, who's probably a 40-year-old fat guy in his house.
oh, the irony of that!
Accurately.
Oh my god! Note to all people with anime profile pictures on their accounts: this is not a jab at you. Please don't sue us in court. We don't have money, and if I do have money, it's all on pre-orders. So shut up and leave us alone. Okay.
You're very poor here. Like
Alright.
it's basically two South Americans and probably like middle class person in the U.S. That's it.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh my god.
Someone like, for someone like this, I mean, give me a second. Could be.
Oh
Someone
my
like this.
god. What the fuck? What is this?
A guy like this.
You're not gonna make me. I don't know if I would want to review Evangelion stuff. Uh, I know nothing about Evangelion aside from the fact that Robin Williams is a fan, and the fact that that it had a
Will
crossover
be
with
a great
Transformers
episode.
in Japan, where Optimus Prime looked like one of the mecha by painting him into the purple color scheme with green bits here and there because Optimus Prime repaints, of course. But
Dude,
uh,
if you're, you should probably watch Evangelion. Like it has fantastic animation. It is a short show. It is very
Yeah,
introspective, and you can watch it and kind of be chill with it, but at the same time feel connected. So that's why it's so good.
for sure.
well, we'll probably give it a watch at some point. Maybe we'll be reviewing another podcast next year. Who
Yeah, I
knows?
want to review it. I want to
Yeah,
review it with Fred.
That'd be great.
yeah, definitely. That would be good.
After that, in episode 6, we talked about X Men, as Fred alluded to. The first X Men movie is still a
Yeah.
great movie. I mean, like it was one of the the gateways to the modern day comic book formula. The first one being Blade. Like Blade was the seed of the modern day comic book formula.
Uh,
Like there's a distinct like tone or quality to them or spirit compared to like the 80s and 90s Batman movies compared to something like Blade, X-Men, and Spider-Man, right?
mhm.
Like there really isn't much of a story to something like Batman 1 compared or Superman the movie compared to X-Men 1 or Spider-Man 1. Maybe it's because we're more used to like the modern day approach to them. But you get what I'm saying when I say that one of them, like one section of it, feels a little more undercooked, and the other one feels more complete, right?
Yeah,
It's all about how you do it, because everything about like X-Men just feels like more fulfilling. It's more than just relying on the actors to like hold the movie, but more so the overall uh like quality of the film, the story, the cast, everything is just much more
Yeah,
satisfying.
yeah. I mean, they even have how do you call this? I mean, fucking furry man.
That's not until the Last Stand. That's not until the Last Stand, but like he definitely does look furry, but nowhere near as cringe as furries. The Beast from X-Men 3. Oh, it did look more like a furry in like the younger version of the Beast from First
Yeah.
Class, Days of Future Past. But that's besides the point. The main thing is the fact that like you look at the first X-Men movie, and even if you have like some bias against Fox for it not being like comic accurate or whatever, you get the spirit of like making a modern day comic book movie. It's more than just making a cartoon. Like more just like turning something that would normally be seen as like too cartoony or too campy into like into just the live action format. Like you don't make it feel like these characters are just wearing costumes. You make it feel like they're the characters in the real world.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going at.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Christopher Reeve's Superman felt more like a guy dressed up like Superman. I don't care if he's iconic; he felt like that. Like George Clooney Batman, as we commented on, to the dismay of a certain someone, like he's just a guy in a suit in a Batman costume.
It was a parody.
Yeah,
It was
With
basically a
nipples.
parody.
yeah. Whereas Hugh Jackman, when he played Wolverine, he felt like Wolverine, as if he was in the real world. Like in a world where there's no Wolverine merchandise, like we'd pretty much like be worried about being next to him because he's aggressive. He's like
Yeah.
he's got claws. We'd be afraid of mutants, or we'd be trying to stand by the mutants.
But yeah, man. I think everyone who listens to this probably knows how much we admire those early 2000s superhero movies because, yeah, you were talking about a seed with Blade. That was before that seed grew into a tree, and from that tree, an apple fell, and you suddenly saw the face of Kevin Feige coming out
Imagine
like
his
a
face.
worm.
Imagine his fucking face in the scene. He'd probably be like, probably going to be like, I'm going to be in charge of just about every Marvel movie from here. He says
Like a sparrow.
he says with his grin. Oh my god.
Just imagine the face of Kevin Feige in the body of a sperm
Oh my
going.
god. Okay, let's move on.
Whoa.
Let's move on. But yeah, first X movie, great stuff. Transformers Prime was after that. We already mentioned that Prime was great when we shut down like Siege. So let's move on. Batman Beyond is fucking amazing, as we already know. I think it's definitely
Yeah.
it's like I know a lot of people have a huge attachment towards the '90s animated series, but I gotta give credit to Batman Returns for feeling more unique. It's a new setting. It has like a new world for us to be in, like a new part of the world, same world we're in. It doesn't try to like feel like it's much more of a teenager angsty feel to it as one would expect because Batman the animated series feels very adult,
Yeah.
whereas this would definitely feel more like like meant for a younger audience or a kiddie audience or whatever.
And they didn't underestimate the public. I mean, this was really great stories, and you don't need to make it more friendly, family friendly. I mean, it works
Yep,
in that way.
and the movie itself, Return of the Joker, was great as well. But I'm surprised that they made
Yeah.
like two versions of it, one censored and one uncensored, because I don't think Batman the animated series had any issues with like the FTC back then.
Well,
it's like weird with the way censorship was handled because sometimes they like censor stuff a lot, other times they don't. It's just unusual with how things work. But either way, it's handled professionally, and like I have no complaints about the Batman Beyond, especially with the Return of the Joker movie. Toy Story, well, you already know how much Toy Story is like iconic and important.
Yeah.
Yeah. Classic.
Yep. What works with it is the fact that even if, in spite of like the somewhat dated CGI, which isn't that dated, like you could put it in any sort of like year it came out in, and it still like look like it's like part of the current like it's still like released today. It's so like it's consistent. It feels like you can just put it in 2021 and it feels brand new, even if it's
Yeah,
familiar to
and
it.
even now when you watch it, it's like something like a really big nostalgia about that time when you were with your toys and just imagining a lot of stories and all the stuff. You know,
Simpler
yeah, I
times.
mean, yeah, it was really great times, and well, in time you change your taste on toys, of course. Now it's different, but
Well,
anyway,
if we ignore the certain kind of market that's out there,
anyway,
let's just like let's put it in this
we
sort of
love our
category.
toys.
But like
We love our toys.
let's put it this way. Like I think you made it like an allusion to adult humor, and I gotta say that the adult humor in Toy Story and Pixar in general is done very well. Like there are a lot of jokes that go over your head, but in this case, they knew how to make the series feel like it's gonna be like have jokes go over kids' heads. I mean, obviously you're gonna have stuff like people try to force in like references to adult humor in any kids show, but if you can make it subtle without trying to make it like confusing to the audience, you can make a much more consistent thing. Plus, like Toy Story and by extension most of Pixar is more of a family film type of approach, not a kids film. A kids film will be something stupid like Minions. A family film would be something good like as we mentioned, Toy Story, Shrek, most of Ice Age, and even the Lego Movie.
Banana.
Banana. No,
All right, enough.
And,
Okay,
and
next
therefore,
Justice Podcast episode will have us
I mean,
like burning Minions posters for a campfire.
one thing that I blame for the existence of this movie it was the song of I don't remember his name. I don't remember the name of the singer, but it was that song that because I'm happy, bro. I really hate that song.
Yeah,
Since the first time I listened. Oh,
but
bro.
in this case, a song like "You Got a Friend in Me" is just very good. I mean,
yeah.
like obviously it's great to sing it at times. Like, "You got a friend in me, you got a friend in me." It's like
Wait, Fred, you don't like Pharrell Williams? What are you, racist?
Yeah, bro. Kind of that.
Like,
I don't really care
like, yeah, Toy Story itself, even the other films feel timeless. I mean, you don't have to worry about making them feel like updated and whatnot. Even 3 and 4, despite being decades after the first two films releases, still feel like you can just put them in any year and they would hold up very well. Compare them to something like whatchamacallit. What would be a good example? What would be a good example of a film that doesn't hold up in any sort of year beyond its intended release? Shark Tale. It doesn't hold up that well, aside from the memes.
I'm trying to think of an example. Like, no, I don't know.
Not sure.
Either way, like
probably most Marvel movies, but
yeah,
those are the typical
yeah.
examples.
I suppose it is a true one, and I guess to some extent the Disney Star Wars trilogy, because it doesn't feel like you can just enjoy it like as much as you would the original and prequel trilogies. But our thoughts on that later, because we can just sum up by saying that Toy Story is wonderful. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, what else can we say? Episode 7 was like the more, well, it definitely had like the most blue thumbnail because Harry Potter had blue background, and we called it Harry.
Yeah.
And Fred, you cropped it to say Harry Pot, smoking pot. We had Star Trek, Turtles Forever, and SpongeBob. Like, I know very little about Harry Potter, but I wanted to give it some attention because the franchise turned 20, I think. Star Trek
Yeah.
because it turned a decade old for the first movie. Turtles Forever because I saw it and I wanted to give Ninja Turtles some love. And SpongeBob because, well, I wanted to review the series, like the trilogy of movies. So,
Have we yet?
your thoughts on that?
Hello?
Your thoughts on the topics?
What? I couldn't hear. Well.
Well, the first one was Harry Potter. Then it was Star Trek.
Oh.
Yeah, Star
Yeah.
Trek, which I don't remember talking that much about that one in specific, but I think
Yeah,
that
same.
it was a good movie. Maybe the next ones are slightly more forgettable, or it didn't extend that much to the general audience, but they were worth
Yeah.
it. Was
I mean,
it?
I really love
Was it
the.
J.J. Abrams, the director?
Yeah, I mean, well, the two first, the first and the second. I mean, the third, I don't know if he directed. I don't know,
Yeah,
but I mean, it deserves a little bit more, to be honest. A little bit more of recognize
yeah,
because all the stuff, the aliens and the creatures were really great. I mean,
yeah. There were.
it was a big production. I mean, well, it's a shame when your work lost against a crocodile. Someone, someone. But well, I mean, it deserved more, to be honest.
Yeah. And Harry Potter, well, like, are we all like big Harry Potter fans or what?
I like Harry Potter. Potter. Harry Potter.
Now, well, now that now here, Latin America, HBO Max are really, so hard with this Harry Potter saga. I mean, they tell you that watch the Harry Potter saga with best friend. I mean, it has a lot of ads with that. I mean, it's it's great, to remember this big saga it's iconic. Well, I mean, it's great. I'm not a big
Indeed.
fan, but it's okay.
Uh,
It's iconic and it's also transphobic
oh
now.
my god. I think the
No,
thing I remember most
you don't
when
go that deep.
I think what encouraged me
You
to
don't
talk
go
about
that
Harry
deep.
Potter was when we had the was when I saw this video of like Donkey Kong punching him when he got a smash invite. I think that got a sequel video by the same guy that made the video. I'll share it to you guys later on when we're done with this. But it's funny.
Sure.
Turtles Forever?
Yep.
Now you guys were familiar with the 2003 series, right?
Yeah, I mean,
I still think it's good to delve into. I mean, maybe not like maybe those would probably not be happy with it just because it didn't quite do the 80s stuff right, but at the very least it felt like you know how to delve into the lore. They like it's great to see two contrasting versions of the turtles without it feeling too jaded or too lopsided. Am I right, Warner Brothers handling Michael Keaton's Flash and putting him with the like Michael Keaton's Batman with the Flash? What am I saying? Uh, But you get what I'm saying. Like '80s Turtles feel somewhat on the same sort of ground as the 2000s Turtles. even if like one group is less violent than the other. At least the pairing makes more sense than say a Batman that's like too old to be Batman, older than the one that people claim is too old, and a very modern, very uptight Flash. What do I know? We're not Warner Brothers. And you know what made me want to see the rest of like the Turtles franchise, because you never know how often you'd want to like seek more from that series, especially if you're not as big like aware of the rest of the series as you are.
Like the live action movies.
Yeah.
I mean, now they are trying to do another live action movie. I know. I mean, it's not related with that two movies that they made. I don't know.
I'm going to probably review
Yeah.
those before the year ends because one of them turns 5. But I'll just say that they're all right.
Yeah, but the most turtle moment, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle moment, is the one that they are in the elevator and they start doing the MC Mikey.
Yeah, that was funny. MC
MC
Mikey. Good stuff.
That was cool.
Yeah, I
The
remember that.
SpongeBob trilogy. Well, honestly, the trilogy of SpongeBob films is weird because they don't feel like trilogies, and you get the feeling that like the first two feel were like made like a decade apart from one another. SpongeBob, the first SpongeBob movie came out in 2004, around when the series was intended to end. Sponge Out of Water came out in 2015, 11 years after. Sponge Out of Water and Sponge Out of Run feels is like made for like 5 years after the second one. But you get the feeling that they're very inconsistent.
Yeah.
It's like because one of them got so much attention, the other one started to get like they wanted to make the film work or get like all the uh, marketing and whatnot because it did so well. So, well, that was a pretty like serviceable but not that great of a movie. It's just like it felt something about it didn't feel right. But that being said, it was still serviceable nonetheless, and I just felt it was all right, but not that great. Could be better. And the prelude to the Disney commentary for Star Wars gave us quite a variety of topics, I'd say. I mean, episode 8 gave us Uncut Gems, Attack on Titan, the first anime to be covered, unless you count War for Cybertron on Netflix, but fuck that show. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie.
Yeah,
and...
fuck Attack on Titan. Fuck that shit.
And Spider-Verse.
Definitely the worst.
And like
that is like a very diverse podcast.
Yeah,
but, yeah.
You got like the adult. You got like the very adult oriented movie. You got yourself an anime to appeal to weebs. Even though Attack on Titan is very aggressive, you got the Kitty Wink. You got like the Kitty MMPR movie, and you got the family animated film Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
But Uncut Gems, even like to this day, is like a glorious movie. The intensity, the music, the cinematography, the way our character Howard Ratner set up is just wonderful.
It is not a movie to put in the background and just have it playing because it will probably give you a headache.
Yeah, you want to pay attention.
You'll be hearing for 2 hours straight people shouting and yelling and slurring everything.
Yeah, I mean, I had a friend that he watched the movie, but he couldn't finish it because it was annoying for him. It was, bro, I can't get that stress. I can finish this.
Don't forget the fact that
you know the glorious moment of this, stressing feel. It was the end of the movie when you don't know. I mean, it was a glorious seeing all that last part. I mean, with the basketball game.
Yep.
It was wonderful. It was wonderful.
It was
I
like
really love it.
It felt
How do you
like
feel?
it felt like getting an eBay auction. It's like, and not to that extent, because obviously you don't get shot if you win an eBay auction, thank God. But like the intensity is just there. It's like you're betting on a
Yeah,
basketball player. You have no control over the basketball player. You can only hope that they win. Howard won, but he ends up like getting shot because the other players were butthurt that he won.
I thought game was real. I hear that way. They won that exactly play.
Definitely like an outstanding film overall. I have no complaints about it. And I have to say that the music itself is just like mesmerizing. It's apart from like the typical like synthwave feel to it. It definitely has a sort of like mystical feel, especially in some of the cinematography when you look at scenes like
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
when at one point,
yeah.
you remember when they like when he zoomed into like the crystal, like the gem, and you got all these
yeah.
flashes before he leaned on the glass. Like that came out of
Mhm.
nowhere, but it was so well done.
Dude.
You had a mystic, all this mysticism with the rock.
It kind
I
of
think
makes
that
Yeah,
most A24 movies have such a weird montage compared to other films.
yeah,
And here in Uncut Gems, you always have this idea that maybe something sublime will happen, and
yeah.
I don't know. It's so weird because it's so mundane at the same time.
yeah. It's like I said, it's like a puzzle. It's hard to solve
Yeah,
because like everything just goes in specific matters, and you never know how like easy it will be. And then the same could be said for Attack on Titan because like I've not seen it. I don't. But I added it in because I know you like Attack on Titan.
yeah. No, it sucks though. No, I'm kidding. Um, yeah, Attack on Titan. It's still like half of a season left for it to end, but it's still great. And I
Yeah.
hope it's such a show that remains in pop culture with good vibes, like good memories of it, not like Game of Thrones, let's
Yeah.
say.
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, it was that kind of shows that really mark you. I mean, in a way, tells what happened to me when I watched the show. I mean, at the very beginning, it was, wonderful. I mean, until now, I have a lot of love for the show. I mean, it's great.
Yeah, Fred basically fell in love with Levi, and now he has a pillow of that character.
I have a lot of posters here in my room.
we should definitely do a room tour at some point. That'd be great.
You first. You first.
Yeah, I will do it. I've been meaning to do it for a good while.
And upload it in the channel.
I plan to
I
do
mean,
it. I just need to get
I have
everything like
one thing.
organized. I got the stuff I need, and don't worry, we'll get to it soon before the year ends. Hopefully, if I
I
don't,
have one thing in my room that will get. I mean, you guys will really get mad with this. Okay, I'm just gonna show it. Okay, just give me a second.
while we go into
I
that,
have this.
we can't really explain what it is because we
Not
want to
this in
wait
my room.
until we're done, until
I'm
like, we
sorry,
actually
guys.
get to the filming stuff. Next topic we talked about
I'm
was
sorry, but I have
No,
this.
please no.
oh, that poster. Well, we were innocent. We didn't
The
know much about
infamous,
that at the time. We had no idea
the
that it would turn out to be
famous.
this. But hey, it's in Spanish. That's pretty good. Well, as far as being distinct is concerned. But yeah, we'll look into that once we delve into like our room tours, proper room tours over the years.
It has a reason. I just want to say that it has a reason.
But
Spit it every morning.
I pray for this poster every morning.
that being
Lord,
said,
please, this time, please give us bread for every morning.
make mine with chocolate chips in it. Back to the podcast itself. Uh, MMPR the movie was okay to watch if you had an attachment to it. Like I have some attachment to Mighty Morphin because I saw the movie and saw the reruns of the show back on Jetix. But like the thing about Mighty Morphin is that when you're so used to like the modern day Power Ranger stuff from In Space to RPM, Mighty Morphin definitely feels like it sticks out in a weird way. Like In Space was more of was like a more of an ongoing story. Lost Galaxy was a continuation of it. Lightspeed Rescue to RPM felt like how you'd restart the series, but still make it feel like it's a dynamic show. Whereas you look into something like RPM, and it just feels pretty like distinct from what we've seen. But when you look at MPR in general, like unless you grew up in Mighty Morphin, you definitely get the sort of feeling that the series itself is just weird. It's too like it's very distinct from what we've been used to. It's very 90s. It's very cheesy, but it makes sense. At least a show I can take seriously at times. The movie though just feels like uh kind of like a goofy mess because it has even campier moments in the TV show. You get like it tries to make itself sound like a bigger deal with the suits and the CGI, but like the suits are fine, but the CGI looks terrible. Uh,
Hmm.
and the story itself is pretty okay. It felt more like an extended TV episode than it did an actual movie. I mean, not much you can do anyways on its own, but it's an example of like how like Saban and Bandai were obsessed with capitalizing on Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It's a pop culture classic, but like it is what it is.
And then we have Spider Verse
Yeah,
or Into the Spider
now
Verse.
that's a movie right there. Like it's still like I still hate when people try to like talk down on it just because it's not live action or because it's like it looked too cartoony. But the thing is that it has influence in it. It has soul.
Uh, Into the Spider Verse is probably the most respectful Spider Man movie since the Raimi trilogy. No offense.
Indeed. But the thing is that Spider Verse is more than just trying to be about the Easter eggs. The main thing is that it wants to make like a new story. Sure, the for sure like you could say that it's like very kiddie, it's very cartoony. But what made it work was the fact that the characters had personalities that bounced off of one another. But more importantly, was that the fact that even though we've seen like the crossover approach for Spider Verse before, they make the movie
Hmm.
feel like it's brand new. This it makes it feel like this is the first time we've met these characters, whether it's Rip Peter or Peter B. Parker or Miles Morales.
I have the last characters. I mean,
Yeah,
six
it
of
had a
them.
lot of characters, and you
Yeah.
could feel.
It was great to see them. Even some of the more like outlandish characters like Penny Parker with her anime influence, or Spider Ham with his very cartoony approach. And yes, he says, I liked it when he said, "You got a problem with cartoons?" He asked to one of the villains. And the very, like, ominous, like, somewhat ominous, like, Spider Man Noir, portrayed by Nicolas Cage.
No.
It's
Who
all
would
good
have
stuff.
guessed Nick Cage in a Spider Man movie?
Yeah, because if you can't do, like, Superman, well, apart from whatever they did with Titans Go, but I forgot. At least you got Spider Man Noir, which is brilliant.
That
Yeah,
would be a really great story, to be honest.
it was great to watch Spider Verse. I've not seen much of it since then, after the episode we made, but I did see a little bit of it when we were after we did some like after me and my dad broke some ice for Our Lady. We saw a little bit of it on FX, which was kind of surprising because I didn't expect the movie to be on a Fox channel of sorts. But hey,
Huh.
it's a surprise because it's Sony. You'd expect it to be on something like Cinemax or whatever, but not on Fox, which is weird. But then again, FX had some Marvel stuff in it in the past, so I guess it makes sense. I don't know. It's just weird. I mean, if Shrek can be on Disney Channel at one point, and so can then Spider Verse can be on FX. But yeah,
Like, dude, recently I was, just watching TV, which I don't do that very often, but they were basically playing Karate Kid, the one with Will Smith's son. They were playing it. They were playing it simultaneously in Disney Channel, in Cartoon Network, and I think that in another channel that it is not like a kids channel.
Damn,
yeah,
really?
Yeah.
What a coincidence.
yeah. Maybe it should be on Nickelodeon as well. But
I mean, it may have been at one time. I don't know why those movies get streamed still. Like,
it's weird.
I don't know if you get me, but they are okay. But do kids still sit down and enjoy them all the time?
I mean, it depends on what kind of like kid you're talking to, or what kind of kid you're at, or you are, what you're into. But it's one of those things, Got to get some publicity for the movie, and it does the job all right, I suppose. Then in episode 9, we did a very big one. We talked about the retrospective of Disney's handling the most amount of guests.
But
now,
can I ask something before we still keep going?
Yeah.
Are we gonna do whole retrospective, like all of the episodes?
Mostly, yeah.
I have the same feeling because there's like 20.
We're almost 2 hours, and I think we're not even half the way.
I think we'll be quick with them. We'll just go briefly on them, especially since there's not much to talk about with some of them. But yeah, Disney's handling of Star Wars, I'll just say, mixed bag overall. I'm not going to be like the people that praise it because of Star Wars, nor going to be like the typical YouTube channels that make 4-hour-long videos on why Rise of Skywalker sucked. But I have my own thoughts on it. We got some good stuff like The Mandalorian, as well as Clone Wars season finale or series finale. We got some mediocre stuff like the Battlefront games, The Force Awakens, and we got some really bad stuff like Resistance and Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. It's pretty much a sign that, we got excited because Disney was involved, but little did we know that they'd actually pretty messy. Enough said. Unless you guys got something to say.
No, nothing to add. It's just the Disney Star Wars.
Yeah, not very well. I just want to say that I really enjoyed who made the thumbnail.
Yeah.
has notorious Easter eggs, man.
Indeed.
It was funny to me.
Porgs. All right, episode 10, our first 2021 episode. Earthrise, sucked dick. Tarantino, legend.
My lord.
Yeah. We can go a little bit about Quentin Tarantino, but I'll just say that I hope we get to see more from him in the future because the guy himself knows how to make movies that aren't obsessed with just being a specific IP.
Yeah, I think Lord Feige already said something about Deadpool 3, so let's hope it gets done. Yeah. Come on.
We'll get, indeed. Green Hornet, still a serviceable movie, but that's pretty much it we have to talk about with it because it's all right. 2021 plans, well, we already did most of them for the most part. We did well with them or completed them. So moving on. Episode 12, Samurai.
The Power Rangers Samurai.
Yeah, it's all right, but I've seen better from Power Rangers. Like as we mentioned with In Space through RPM. But
Yeah, I remember, when I came from the school, I just turned on the TV to watch the show while I was with my lunch.
I guess like if this was your first ever season,
that's that's my only remember with this show.
Lunchbox.
I think the
Yeah.
thing is like if it was your first ever season, that wouldn't be a bad thing. Everyone has their first, but the thing is like Samurai was not that totally different from Megaforce. Dino Charge was better than Megaforce, but mostly in the writing quality. Tone wise was somewhat similar. Ninja Steel was the worst of them all. You compare that to like the Disney era, which had or Neil's or like Poe's Jordan era, which felt very distinct in how they handled their stuff. And it kind of makes you miss when Power Rangers was like diverse with its writing styles and whatnot. Neo Saban era felt very samey, and Samurai, while not to blame for the stuff we got, definitely did bring in tropes like reusing Go-Go Power Rangers, trying to be like MMPR, and having a much more watered down tone than what we gotten beforehand. But I don't hate it that much. It's okay.
Yeah.
The War for Cybertron video game was definitely fun to look back on because it felt it was a nice meaty Transformers video game, and considering the fact that it wasn't tied into a specific like piece of media like a movie or TV show, it knew how to make itself feel more polished and rewarding. So major props to the War for Cybertron game developers for doing a great job, and certainly better than the Netflix garbage.
I love the trailers of that game. It really
Yeah,
has, this story.
and follow
It's small
Cybertron.
stories that sells you the game.
Yeah,
It was great.
And
I
follow
remember that.
Cybertron's even better with their trailers. Like the first one is like very emotional. You know, Angel,
Yeah,
Angel, what
yeah.
have I done? That was very sad. To see Bumblebee get shot in the chest, and Optimus like holding on to him. But yeah, War for Cybertron, a tremendous game. Deadpool.
Yeah.
We still like Deadpool, right?
No, apparently now it is common. Like it is a tradition to hate on it. So let's hate it. Fuck this
Yeah.
movie.
Deadpool sucks. He stole money from me. But yeah, real talk, like I know people tend to overhype the movies, and sure, the 2016 movie definitely feels like it's best watched in 2016 than in any other year. But since it turned 5, I still enjoyed what we got from the film itself, and I kind of am curious to see what we'll get from the Deadpool in the future because Disney's involved, and we don't know how he's going to be handled from there. Only time will tell.
Yeah.
Much like with Sonic the movie,
No. Yeah.
because the first movie felt pretty undercooked. Like it was very basic. I know people remember it more so for the redesign of the character than they do anything else, but I'm curious to see how the sequel will turn out because hopefully that's a more like satisfying movie to watch than the first one, which felt kind of basic.
Hmm.
And I know if some of you guys weren't like didn't see the movie, it was mostly just the memes.
Gangster Paradise. Yeah. Yes,
Yep.
sir. There was
So
one.
I don't watch movies. In fact, I just see the memes and then formulate opinions on the movies. I don't actually watch them. Like
Yeah,
2 hours of my attention is too much. I can't.
indeed. But a movie that was worth watching, especially in preparation for a specific topic, was Man of Steel.
Oh,
Oh yeah, Man of Steel, the one where he snaps Sod something
Yeah,
is next. Yeah, no, that movie I watched it. Huh?
that like Man of Steel was just a great Superman movie overall. Like the only thing I wish that we had from it was the fact that it came out sooner because like before that we just had like the poorly dated Christopher Reeve movies and Returns, which I would like to review it just so I can get it off my chest. But for now, I want to give lots of love to Man of Steel. It's a beautiful movie,
yeah.
a great way to give a reincarnation of Superman on film. He's modern, but not like meant for the teenage model like modern. He's just meant to be a brand new take on Superman on film. Make him feel more complete. Make him feel like he's not held back. Give him more a unique story. And even if we have to deal with the stupid sort of complaints people have about how destructive he was, or how he could like questioning if he can't save the kids in the bus or his father, like it's best for Superman to grow as a character over time, especially in Man of Steel, where it's mostly about like a Superman that's growing to become Superman.
Hmm. But then you see the reality. Well, in the next movie, well, now is like a really great, building characters story. I mean, it was really great, and until now, the fly scene gives me chills, bro.
Yeah,
It's a really beautiful scene.
but I think
It
my
makes me
favorite
cry
scene
sometimes.
was like the battle in Metropolis, because before then we just had to deal with very slow, very like yawn-inducing sequences for Superman movies. Whereas here it was very tense. You had people trying to like not. You had people getting killed. You had people trying to survive. Especially when we saw friggin' Perry White try to save him and his coworkers while the battle was going on, like the destruction was going on. It proves that anyone could be Superman in some capacity if they do the right thing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's it's a very well made movie overall, and I just love Man of Steel. Shame we're not going to get anything else because Warner Brothers doesn't want to restore the Snyderverse. They're more interested in trying to restore the youthfulness that they have with like whatever power they have left from being shitty CEOs. But that's on them.
I'm a Marvel. I'm an MCU fan now.
Yeah, Dino Fury episode one was decent. I think I'll just cover Dino Fury, the rest of Dino Fury so far right away. It's a decent season. Like it does things better than Beast Morphers. It's still not as good as In Space to RPM, but what I have seen from it from Dino Fury overall is pretty good. It could be better, but I'm happy with what I got. I think what I like more is just the fight sequences, the lore, and the music. Like the music is more than just Go Go Power Rangers remixes. You have choruses in some themes. You have like instrument variety, and the morph sequence is just so good. If you can listen to it at your own in your own time, it's very satisfying to listen to.
Yeah.
It's like it's a mix of like synth music. It's a mix of like dubstep type music without it being too like annoying. It's very it's very meaty. Is what I'm trying to say. And now we have The Way Back. It's a beautiful Ben Affleck movie. I know people love Argo. I know people love The Accountant, which I should cover like in another episode. Well, we should cover. I mean, I'm sorry for being I. There's no I in team.
Egocentric.
I'm sorry, but yeah, The Way Back.
Where is your collective thought? Huh?
The Way Back is
That's
just
not
is just The Way Back
you.
is just like awesome. The thing about The Way Back is just how it handles Ben Affleck's like it parallels his story. He's had a shitty life, from paparazzis to being in bad films. I mean, we've already seen this with Giggly and Daredevil, as well as having to deal with the stress that people put onto him, but worse in 2016 when he was involved with like Warner Brothers as well as Batman v Superman and Justice League.
Yeah, I think Ben uh, has a lifetime that you can see that he's very passionate about what he does, but he also
Yeah.
made a lot of mistakes. So, yeah, maybe that's why depression and alcohol became a thing in the end, but now he overcame that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And hopefully he stays that way because he is a king. He deserves a lot of respect from there. especially in the way back, because that is a beautiful movie.
It is.
The perfect way for like his character to pass to like remind the current generation to not go through the same mistakes that he went through, because that's something that a lot of people need to learn about.
Yeah, it's not the type of life you want. Trust me.
And of course, Paper Mario, which I think is, we can sum up by saying that it was kind of like not the most exciting Paper Mario game, but it was nostalgic for some of us and a fun game overall. Even if it made me go into the vent about how Mario's and different like themes are very distinct, but we're getting ahead of ourselves, aren't we?
Well, then we have Batman v Superman, which we basically talk every 2 weeks about.
Yeah, like you can't blame us because Batman v Superman is just the movie that you just want to learn more and more and more and more about.
True. But you have the Twitter debates for that. I don't think people actually want to listen to us.
Yeah,
Like, wait, I remember here it was like, look, 2 hours, 37 minutes, and I swear 2 hours of those were for Batman v Superman.
exactly. Poor Zeo and RAD in WandaVision didn't get as much love. But like, yeah, Batman v Superman is just a like glorious film to delve into. Sure, it may not have the most amount of action. Sure, it may not have the most amount of like tropes you'd expect from the MCU, but that's not the point. The main point is that it's like a political thriller that has superheroes in it without it being too obnoxious. Like people are so obsessed with like trying to make like Trump and Hillary or Biden parallels. It's just stupid. Batman v Superman knows how to be a great film that doesn't do any of that stuff and instead just makes you wonder how would the world react to Superman existing?
Yeah.
Like, and even questions.
Yeah, it's just movies with bigger scope than the usual blockbusters. You expect them to be just centric towards characters and their own fiction, but here they add uh, like flavors of realism that
Yeah,
makes everything just much more interesting.
indeed. And it's more than just like Superman being doubted by the public, but a deconstruction of Batman's character. He's like been Batman for so long, and normally a character that's been in that sort of role for so long would be kind of hard to handle, especially if you are like not interested in seeing something like Luke Skywalker from The Last Jedi. But in this case, Batman is pretty much different from what it was implied. They don't have they could have shown it to us, but they implied it, which like I can see why some people would be annoyed by it. But at the same time, like they show the fact that he's been very like different from what he used to be.
Yeah.
Like the Batman from the night for like the early 1990s would definitely be a different beast from a Batman that we've seen in the 2010s.
Yeah. Are you saying that George Clooney would not beat up Ben Affleck in a fight?
Oh my god. I'm pretty sure someone would be like squealing over Clooney winning in a fight, but sorry, Batfleck still wins. But yeah, Batman v Superman is just a glorious film, and you don't have to like it, but at the same time, you gotta understand why we do love it. Otherwise, I'm gonna do the same thing that I did to Batman Robin and roast the other film that you'd probably have an attachment to. Maybe I should roast Superman the movie. I had to get a lot of Twitter people upset. But yeah,
You would, and I don't actually hate Superman the movie, but I don't think it's the big deal either. I just remember watching it twice and just it's all right.
indeed.
It has the most like the epic John Williams soundtrack. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but then again, only the theme song gets remembered. Do you remember any of the other tracks?
No, yeah, it's not that engaging for me, or maybe because we are
Maybe it's a different
new
generation, but
generation.
if that's the
Yeah,
case,
the newer
but like
generation.
the
I
thing
mean,
is
now,
that
I mean, we were, listen to much this kind of new line of of music. Well, with the movies, with the Lion King, listen with this glorious, leitmotif. Then the Pirates of the Caribbean. Then I mean, we were born with this kind of soundtracks. We don't really enjoy too much. Or well, my opinion, I really enjoy too much. Those soundtracks that are like too melodic, or I don't know how to explain it, but I'm really in love with the band. I mean, I know it's iconic, the Superman song, but I mean, I'm not too much in love with it. Maybe with others like ET or Star Wars, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I know they are iconic, but I don't. It has something that I don't really love it. I don't know.
but yeah, it's pretty generic.
Hmm.
But Batman v Superman is
Yeah,
just a masterpiece, especially the Ultimate Edition. The theatrical cut, I know people like to shit on it, but really it just feels more like a trial version of BVS. It's serviceable. It's a good, but not as good as the Ultimate Edition, which we already know
yeah.
is just like
You feel something is missing.
yeah.
Yeah, you feel something is missing here. I mean, because there are some scenes that you say, "Oh, okay, now I understand more about this," and why they didn't add into the movie. I mean, it makes no sense.
Ultimately, it's all
But it
about
works.
making a
First
glorious
fucking
experience.
like the first point of inflection of the movie, which is like the desert scene.
Yeah,
Those scenes are idle, and they got cut off. Like, what the fuck?
yeah,
How am I supposed to understand everything else onwards if you just basically took one of the most important parts out?
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's funny too because Warner Brothers, like they say that the movie got a standing ovation, yet they cut out a lot of stuff. Make up your mind, Warner Brothers.
Remember the times of the test screens and everyone hyped and saying, "Yeah, the movie basically is a masterpiece," and then all the fucking
Then like
all the comments and all the critics and yeah.
2016. What an interesting time that was. Thankfully, I learned that
What interesting. Yeah.
you don't have to rely on like a stupid tomato score to like a movie. And I still love Batman v Superman to this day. And to talk about it so long made me realize that once again, Zio and the other topics didn't get as
Yeah,
much attention.
only trust Scott Mendelson. If you want good reviews, good info, and just someone so cool to talk with, follow Scott Mendelson on Twitter. That's a great guy.
Yeah. Although I will say one warning is that he kind of wanted to see Hitler come back and be an artist. What an idiot. But after that, we got Power Rangers Zeo, which Power Rangers Zeo is all right. It's definitely a continuation from Mighty Morphin, but it kind of does some things that are better than MPR, but doesn't do anything new beyond that. It's okay. RD 2015, Robots in Disguise 2015 is a decent show. I don't hate it because it's not like Prime, but at the same time, I don't love it because it's okay at times. It definitely got better, but meh. One Division. Well, remember when people gave a lot of attention to One Division, then they give a lot of attention to the Falcon and Winter Soldier, and now Loki.
Now is what if?
And now it's What If? Yeah,
Yeah.
having a lot of TV shows isn't a bad thing, but it's kind of like the MCU movie wise, where the next film comes out and people give attention to that, and it's just funny how it works.
Really, it was a good show. I'm not gonna lie. It was a good show. I mean, no, that overhype that people say that, oh my god, but I mean, it's a good show. I mean, but it's not something like, you know, like wonderful or I don't know, but it's a good show. I mean, just that.
Yeah, it's funny how it works.
In my opinion.
And then episode 14 gave us the Snyder Cut, which, oh man, was great to watch.
I
Sadly,
think we, I think we cried that one time.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
I was having internet problem.
yeah,
I'm not
it's
sure.
like it
No
was
problem.
emotional, right? Because we got the cut at last. It was great to see the movie.
Yeah,
I mean, I remember having my snacks with me, my soda, my Snyder pretzels, my Oots potato chips before the Snyder cut, like a day before the Snyder cut was released. It was raining in the morning, and I've turned on my computer. I wanted to see the movie as early as I can. What an amazing
yeah,
experience it
same,
was.
same. Yeah, before all the internet, blows our mind to putting spoilers. I hate it. But I also left my social media apps for 1 week maybe because it has all this leak that happens with Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was a fucking mess. But it was worth it in the end because we got ourselves an awesome movie. I know some will still prefer Batman v Superman over Zack Snyder's Justice League, but the main thing is that we got ourselves a dynamic film. Great characters overall, a great story, this true version of the film, and it blows away the garbage abomination that is Justice.
What movie? What movie? Sorry.
Which I have
Exactly.
a poster on my room.
No, no, Fred,
but
shut the fuck up. What is that?
like the sad thing is that we still
Which movie are we talking about? I don't think
like
there's any other
the
version,
sad thing is
right?
that we
The
still
porn parody.
like the sad thing
You're
is
talking about
that
the porn parody.
the sad thing is
Yeah.
that we still want more from it. Like we want the sequels. We want a Batfleck story, like whether it's a TV show or an HBO Max series. We want Deathstroke. We want Cyborg. We want to see their versions of the Green
Of
Lantern.
Joss Whedon. We want more of Joss Whedon.
Yeah, we want more of Joss Whedon getting his ass beaten.
The
Yeah.
Batgirl movie.
But
His Batgirl movie. His True Vision, please, Warner, listen to us.
Yeah, it's the true version, not what they're planning to do now.
it's just kind of like it just makes you want more. And you look at the stuff that they're putting out. I'm sure someone's going to be happy to see Peacemaker or whatever. But deep down, like you really, really, really want to see a Batfleck story because Batfleck is awesome. Like
Yeah.
Batfleck has been in my mind for so long, ever since BVS came out, because his character is dynamic, and they don't want to do anything with him, which is a massive shame. And that's why, like, one thing I can blame the Snyder Cut for is making me want more. Now,
And we're fighting for it.
yeah, that's one thing we're
Of course.
doing. Now, does this mean we're going to stop at some point when we get the things that we need, like overall? Sure. I mean, I don't think we're going to need like a spin-off movie that features Martha Kent. But what we do need, like overall, is just Justice League 2 and 3, a new Superman movie with Henry Cavill, a new like Ben Affleck movie or TV show, something for Deathstroke, more Little Joker,
Yeah.
and like Cyborg and the Green Lanterns and Martian Manhunter.
Yeah, and a Martha Kent movie. Maybe if it is like an erotic drama between her and Bruce Wayne, then maybe we could talk
Okay.
about that.
All right, Alex Braun.
It could work.
All right, Alex Braun, hold your horses. All right. Yeah, Zack Snyder's Justice League, an amazing experience overall.
Amazing.
That makes us want more.
Amazing. I keep watching it over and over again, and it just keeps getting better.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I really fell in love with the soundtrack. I mean, now that we were talking about this, that. I mean, I really love how John Kexel reimagined some of the themes. I mean, some people will say that the Wonder Woman thing is annoying and whatever, but I don't know. It gives like it's a little bit overused to
Yeah, it
sometimes.
may be like that, but at least it feels
Let's be
distinct.
honest. Let's be honest. But it was great.
Yeah,
but
like
it
a
was
lot of the
great.
music was just dynamic. I like the rock tune that we get
Yeah,
from the Lion Earth did roar. Flash's theme was just beautiful. The League uniting was
yeah.
great. It was nice to hear like the bit of
The team.
yeah.
I mean, the soundtrack of the Justice League when they finally defeat Steppenwolf. I mean, it was amazing. I mean, I also cried, of course, and when they were on the top of the reactor,
Indeed. And
Superman helps Batman come in. Oh,
yeah, it's
bro,
just like no
that
words
was
were
great. That
needed.
was great.
It was just music that was doing all the talking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And it was just a beautiful experience overall. The epilogue felt much more satisfying. Like we went from like some weird like talk about darkness and light to a more emotional story for Ray Fisher to close off on while everyone else does their own epilogue.
yeah.
Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Zack Snyder's Justice League is just awesome. It's a big
Beautiful
masterpiece.
movie and a vision that we deserve.
Indeed.
And all the fans of DC true
Like the most obsessive, the ones that want the most out of it, not just the little stuff, but something big, something meaty, something beefy.
yeah,
It's what they deserved. And of course, we
and we
couldn't stick
still
around with the
fighting for
Snyder
it.
cut, so we went back to normal episodes with Sucker Punch, which was it turned 10 that year.
Uh,
I
can I just say that I really need to leave because tomorrow I have college and I have like a lot of reading to do.
oh damn.
Well,
I mean,
Yeah.
we can review the episodes quicker maybe.
yeah, we can try and get them like
But,
done sooner. We're almost done with
but
them
I
anyhow.
just really need it. I just really need it because here it's already midnight
Oh
and
man,
like yeah, between midnight and the few hours I have to read and then go to sleep, it's just like I barely have any time. Sorry.
okay, so I guess it'll just be you and me, Fred.
Yeah, but yeah, we can maybe do it like a little bit quicker because
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do.
it's Thursday. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, sorry, but good luck. It's already midnight. That's why
Yeah, it's
I just need
understandable.
to set
Okay.
off. So
All
good
right.
luck. See ya.
See ya.
See you, man.
All right. Sucker Punch.
Okay, let's just review it like quickly because
Yeah. Sucker Punch
yeah, we don't have
was
Sucker Punch.
like underrated basically. Doesn't get as much like love, but I think it's better handled than people say it is, especially if you get to hunt out the like proper version of the film.
I never watched the movie to be honest. Never give me that interested, you know. But eventually, I will watch it.
All right. Bloodshot felt like a more violent version of Upgrade. It's got Vin Diesel in it,
See?
but I don't think it gets as much attention. But I can't blame anyone if they aren't obsessed with Bloodshot, the IP. Doesn't have the same impact that something like
Yeah.
Invincible has.
Well, same here with same as Soccer Punch. It never gives me the attention or interest of the movie. To be honest,
Yeah.
never liked too much. You know the I don't remember his name. So Vin Diesel movies. I don't know. Never like movies to be honest.
Yeah.
But Rio was great.
Yeah. It was
Yes,
fun to delve into
sir.
Rio.
Rio was a wonderful movie. I mean, and all you really get into this old Brazilian culture with a lot of joy, and it, it was it feels really proper of the country. I mean,
It's just so well
it has
handled,
that magic.
and it definitely kind of reminds me of again of like the difference between kids films and family films. Like,
Yeah.
this is definitely in the same sort of category as Toy Story. Maybe not as iconic as Toy Story or Shrek, but it feels
Well, I don't think so.
remarkable nonetheless. And Doom Eternal is just fucking awesome. Like, whether you actually play the
Yo,
game
Doom is great.
or you love the music or just like the character Doom
Yeah,
guy,
the music is awesome. I mean, you can put the music and kill everyone in a second.
yeah. Like even if you're not a huge fan of the Doom series, at least you know the fact that it means business. It's a big meaty video game, and it's the proper way of
Yeah,
expanding on something that doesn't have much of a story to the original stuff, because Doom doesn't really have much of a story. The newer games add a story to them, and I
yeah,
think they do a good job.
definitely. Yeah, sometimes I watch like speed runs and bro, those are amazing videos. Like you feel all that adrenaline like watching that.
Yeah,
It's really good.
it's like tense.
Yeah.
Then
But
we go
anyway,
to the Fantastic Four. Fuck Fantastic. Moving on.
the fans forced it. Now I learned how to say it now. Fans forced it. But I mean, the wonderful Fantastic movie. I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh, that was so
yeah.
funny praising it. After that, we talked about the MonsterVerse. It's a
Oh, the Monsterverse.
it's a decent series overall, but like
Yeah,
Godzilla v Kong felt like the weakest because apart from the hype of seeing the
yeah.
monsters clash, I don't know.
I mean,
Just
I understand that people just want day to fight, but at least you, you can have a good story with the people. Sometimes those are annoying when they pause the fight to show them what the people are doing, but I mean, at least try to them to do something interesting, not solve the things on the stupid way as throw this tequila. I don't know what was
yeah,
the little bottle that the guy has.
yeah, that was pretty
I
pathetic.
mean,
It definitely felt
yeah, it
like
was
Justice
really
levels of
strange.
pacing and tone. Although not as bad as Justice, it definitely felt like there's more that needed to
No,
be
man.
there. And from there, we did like the first segment where we did like shorter episodes with fewer subject matters. Episode 18 already had Dino
Oh
Fury
yeah,
Part 2 covered, so we'll just talk about Dawn of the Dead and Beast Wars. Dawn of the Dead is great. Like, we already know that it's like the first Zack Snyder movie, but
yeah.
what made it work is the fact that it knew how to uh, like put a new spin on the zombie genre, or at least put a new spin on the
Hmm.
idea of Dawn of the Dead without feeling like it's trying to replace anything.
Yeah, I mean the movie has a lot of respect now because it shows these kind of zombies are not the slowest. They're like the zombies we know nowadays.
Indeed.
A lot of impact into the culture.
Much like how Beast Wars had a big impact in Transformers. Like, you had much smaller
Yeah.
characters, like you had
Oh
new
no.
setting.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned Beast Wars, I mean, now they are filming now here in Peru
Yeah, I
with that
heard
kind of
for Rise of the
yeah.
Beasts. I can't wait to review Rise of the Beasts to see how interesting it'll be. But like Beast Wars
Yeah,
changed Transformers in a big way because it was our first ever CGI Transformers show. It had a much smaller group of characters that meant better writing for them compared to
yeah.
G1. We had new voice actors, and while it initially looked like it was its own thing, it was connected to G1, but it felt natural.
Yeah, I mean, and all that stuff, that they are not now like transforming cars or vehicles. Now they're like animals. And for me, well, in my case, I really love that idea that they become like dinosaurs or kind of animals. I mean, I really
Yeah,
love it.
like that wasn't anything new, but them turning into organic beasts is new, but it worked in a way.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
it's great to see them come back in new forms of media, like animated with Waspinator, Cyberverse with Cheetor, and War for Cybertron trilogy. Like Kingdom sucks, but it was kind of cool to see the Beast Wars. I just wish they were handled better. And of course, uh, we got X-Men First Class, which was a great way to give us the new trilogy of younger X-Men
Oh yeah,
characters.
it's a really great movie.
Definitely a little more casual than the other stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, but it was great to see, the pre Magneto Charles Xavier, the story was great. I mean, both were killing the movie. I mean,
Exactly.
they were great. Yeah.
And since we're like so used to seeing Wolverine get most of the attention with the other X-Men characters, it was refreshing to
Yeah.
see like Charles Xavier and Magneto get all the attention. I prefer like James. I prefer like the actors Patrick Stewart and Mike and like Ian McKellen as Xavier and Magneto or Eric Lesnar, but
Mhm.
Michael Fassbender's Magneto and
Sure.
uh,
Yeah.
what's the name of the young uh, Xavier actor? I forgot his name.
The Charles Xavier actor.
Yeah, the younger Charles Xavier actor for First Class.
Damn it. He's I don't know. I forgot it.
I'm on it.
He is James McAvoy. Yeah,
Yeah, James
James
McAvoy.
McAvoy.
His last name's kind of hard to remember, but thanks. Yeah, like
And
those
to be
two.
honest, his role was really wholesome.
Yeah,
So, you
like
feel that vibes and chilling things when he's talking with Magneto, to control his feelings. I mean, it was a great
yeah,
acting.
those two are like dynamic. Like their dynamic was great to see, and I think
Yeah.
it's even better than what we got with with their older counterparts.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's definitely the strongest point of the new trilogy. And of course, we got Beast Machines, which I know people think is controversial because of the designs and the characterizations, but I think Beast Machines is a good show. It's definitely more like more obsessed with lore and like religion stuff type of dealies, but Beast Machines is just great. Not as good as Beast Wars, but I think it's handled very well.
Okay. Dino Church?
Yeah,
What
Dano
did you
Charge
say
is
about
like
it?
the best of the Neil Saban era. It has a lot of Rangers in it. While the second season was weak, it was great to see some like energy and some character development that Samurai Megaforce were lacking. Okay, Samurai definitely got some character development, but it felt like you had to wait until Super Samurai. Whereas Dino Charge started off strong, but then got weak. Episode 20 gave us Army of the Dead, which,
You,
yeah, we loved Army of the Dead. It was like
the
fucking
real Suicide
insane.
Squad.
That was the
That's
Suicide
a real
Squad.
Suicide Squad.
Yeah, a lot of people got like murdered there different ways. The zombies were like intense this time around. Like they were much more intelligent. Like you didn't know
Yeah.
who would win,
Mhm.
and it was just like masterful to see like who'd win, who wouldn't, backstabbing, mentions of
Yeah.
Loop, and you know for a fact they're going to make a big franchise out of it. Who knows how big it'll be, but I'm excited to see
Yeah.
what we got. Even if one of the projects is going to have a guy that shot on Zack.
Mm-hmm. To be honest, I mean, it has this strange thing that happened with the movie, with all these theories that they're aliens, they're robots, and all that
Yeah,
stuff. And I
like
mean, it's really interesting to listen to all that stuff,
yeah, like
or the time loop,
yeah, like
the time
that's
loop that they are doing over and over and over again.
yeah, like it's more than just setting up sequels. It's setting up like questions. Like
Yeah,
Like
Indeed.
normally a lot of people try to set up like Easter eggs for future films, but in this case, they're more obsessed with making you wonder what they're gonna do with like the next film.
Yeah.
It's like, will they answer this question? How will they answer it? How will it be revealed? That's what I want to see in movies these days.
Yes, sir.
And hopefully, the answers we get will be like worth listening to.
The answer I want to hear is if they are going to make a 7 or a 6 movie of Shrek
Yeah. Speaking
of
of
the
which,
episode. You know what?
well, we still have yet to
If
get like a
they're
fifth Shrek movie, but like the first Shrek movie is still great. If you've seen it in the
yeah,
20th
I mean, it's
anniversary,
good.
I'm proud of you, and especially considering the fact that it holds up quite well, like much like Toy Story does. Maybe the jokes are a little
Yeah,
dated, but it's still good.
and I would say that I mean the first movie is great, but I mean the most iconic, I guess, is the second one.
Yeah, we'll take a
Probably
look
we
at the
need to
second
talk
one
about it.
before the year ends. We need to talk about that one soon.
Yeah.
300,
Well,
another good Zack Snyder
300.
movie.
I mean, 300 was the beginning of how Zack Snyder we're going to continue doing his movies. I mean, it is interesting how he built all this atmosphere that you will see, in your next movies. And
Yep.
oh, this is a Zack Snyder film.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely this. And this movie is copying this style, and it's very curious, how he reimagined all this story. Well, the style because it's a Frank Miller story, but it was really, really, really great movie. Not my favorite of Zack Snyder, but it was good.
I'm so happy to have the DVD on my shelf along with my other DVDs of movies I have.
Yeah,
Then we got Thor. Thor kind of gets
Thor.
like people either love the first movie or they prefer Ragnarok. It's obvious that we all hate the Dark World, but one thing's for sure is that like Thor, the first Thor movie was like done very well. I appreciate it,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
like it makes me miss when the MCU was like was less about being like the in your face, I'm the best, but more so just building its own world.
yeah.
And
What about Prime World?
the Prime Wars trilogy sucks. Like it's like it's shit. Moving on. And then we get into like an
Done.
interesting route with once again variety for topics. Episode 22 gave us Watchmen, and we pretty much completed all the Zack Snyder movies that we had to see. Well, apart from Legend of the Guardians, but yeah,
Shit happens again.
yeah, I hate when it happens too.
You know
But
what?
like, what I was trying to say was that like Watchmen, we got to see Watchmen, and it helped us complete the Zack Snyder movies for the year.
I mean, until now, I mean, I really love how's the styling of the movie. The cinematography is great. I mean, I really love how Zack Snyder, reply some of the comic book page and put it into the movie.
Yeah,
And
I must say
I don't know. I
this.
mean,
It's
the
like
beginning of the movie, it's pure gold for me. I mean, the fight between Ozymandias and the comedian, it's great. I mean, one of my favorite scenes of all superhero movies. I mean, I really love how he's built it.
And I'll say this: it feels more like a Zack Snyder movie than his others, than like Man of Steel and BVS and even the Snyder Cut do, because
Yeah.
like like it feels more like something Zack Snyder would do, whereas Batman v Superman and the other stuff feel more like don't feel as Snyder-ish, if that makes sense. But you still get that sort of
Hmm.
impact, and it's handled very well, and I'd say it's like glorious.
Yeah.
And then we talked about the Falcon and Winter Soldier, which is a strong MCU series. I know some people have issues with like the way Captain America was handled and whatnot, but unless you're the kind of like douchey, like politic obsessed journals, you can ignore all
Yeah.
that garbage and just appreciate the Falcon Winter Soldier for doing a decent job at commentary. And more so doing justice for uh, these side characters, which I don't think get as much
Yeah.
respect in their own stuff. I mean, the fans love him, but
Hmm.
like I don't think they get as much better treatment. Like aside from uh, the Winter Soldier, I mean, Bucky got too much attention in Civil War, but it was like pretty bitchy with
Yeah.
between Captain Iron Man. And did people feel bad about Falcon dying?
I don't know.
I think people would be more upset if like War Machine died because people like War Machine more.
Yeah. Well, it's because it had connection with Tony Stark. I mean,
Yeah,
and he will probably get a lot of feelings at that.
indeed.
But I mean, it has a little deeper view of the Winter Sword, the Winter Soldier. I mean, I really like that part of him releasing how his last how his past life was. I mean, I really love that sort of drama that has.
And of course,
But
the Falcon.
but to be honest, the last episode it has a lot of potential, and I don't really like how they solve this problematic with the last speech. I mean, I guess it will they will do something better, but it works. It
Yeah,
works.
and at the very least, it was great to see it was great to see the Falcon become the new Captain America. I'd call him Captain Falcon, but he exists and he's from Nintendo. And
Oh
here's
yeah,
yeah, and here's a surprise
and we don't
topic
want
that
more demands of Nintendo.
yep. And here's like the surprising topic of the episode, that being Sailor Moon Eternal. Because for those that don't know, I'm kind of a new fan of the series after seeing the clips from the
Oh
now
yeah.
defunct Sailor Moon Says channel. It's for those that don't know, Eternal is like a continuation of the Crystal series. I've not seen Crystal. I'm still watching a '90s anime, but like Eternals is like a solid set of movies. Like if I think they work well as standalone, but
Mhm.
there's parts of me that want to know what the other like parts of the series are like. One problem though for Crystal, the animation style sucks. Season 3 was said to be decent or better than what we got for the first two seasons, but Eternal's art style is just done up very well. So all I can say is that if you're a '90s fan and you've like never seen Crystal, well, like prepare to be aware of the fact that this is meant to be a continuation of Crystal and not the '90s series. And of course, we did the
and something that
Xbox.
hurts, and something that of course doesn't suck is Xbox. Oh yeah,
Yeah, Xbox is just great to look back on. It definitely felt like it had its own vibe compared to the PlayStation 2 and the GameCube.
yeah. I mean, here in Latin America, it has, it was it wasn't like a big impact, but it has a lot of love with the games. The Halo one and the Gears of War. I mean, it was really great games until now. But yeah, the classic Xbox, it's pure nostalgia for me.
And of course, who can't forget the fact that it brought us titles like Halo Combat Evolved.
Banjo Kazooie. Yeah,
Indeed. And like Banjo Kazooie was like really like initially part of the Nintendo 64, whereas it became a Microsoft property when Rare got bought
yeah.
by Microsoft. Except Donkey Kong stayed with Nintendo because Nintendo created Donkey Kong.
Mhm.
And yeah, Xbox is just great. Even if you like grown up with like PlayStation 2 or GameCube, you still get the sense of like the impact it has.
Yeah.
And from there, the first episode I've done on my own was for 23, Dark of the Moon, Invincible, and Sonic's 30th anniversary. Uh, Dark of the Moon, best Transformers movie. Great
Yeah,
cinematography, great
definitely.
characters, great story, great music, great visuals. I don't care about if people want to go after me just because I don't like Bumblebee or the 1986 movie, which I'll review later on. But Dark of the Moon, best Transformers movie. Invincible, fucking awesome
Invincible.
series. Like
Yeah, it was a really great surprise. This was show that since the very beginning. That post credit scene, break down all stigmas that, oh no, this is going to be a normal show about superheroes. No, this is something that will change your mind or something
Yeah,
like that.
from Nolan's like revealing true intent to the violent nature of the series. Like Invincible
Yeah,
is a one of a kind gem. It's probably the
sure.
best like adult animated series we've gotten because most of the time I feel like a lot of adult animated shows have the same sort of ugly animation style. Like, sure, it's hard to be distinct from The Simpsons or
Yeah.
Family Guy or King of the Hill, but when you go for a similar art style to whatever you get with like Bob's Burgers or Big Mouth or whatever, you're going to have like a hard time winning people over. And even though
Hmm.
Invincible is based on a pre-existing property, it has its own identity.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you get a
And it
great
feels
voice
fresh.
cast. And of
Feels
course,
fresh too.
indeed,
I mean,
and of course, you get a tremendous voice cast, whether it's from people like
oh
J.K.
yeah,
Simmons or other legendary voice actors like Mark Hamill and Kevin Michael Richardson. It's just masterpiece. I can't wait for the other stuff.
yeah. Next season will be awesome.
Indeed, Sonic's 30th
I saw one.
anniversary was solid,
Yeah,
but like I think people tend to shit on Sonic too much. But I will say that it was fun to revisit some of the stuff and be excited for what we're gonna get, like the second movie, some of the new games. Hopefully, it'll turn out
yeah.
to be quite well.
What about episode 24?
Yep, Time Force. At Power Ranger season, I love revisiting because like the tone was great, the characters were awesome. It was kind of like a more serialized, a more serious Power Ranger season, but it didn't feel like it was jarring as Netflix were for Cybertron. It felt natural. Like it was kind of
Hmm.
like it was sort of like, but not exactly, kind of like the Clone Wars, where the show grew up with the audience. But it's still something kids can watch no problem because like the general audience, like the fans that grew up with the '90s, would like look at MMPR and and going from MPR to Time Force would be like growing up. If you're still watching the series, you're gonna love Time Force,
Yeah.
and who can't forget moments like Eric the Quantum Ranger, the backlash that Alex has towards the team for being replaced, the crossover with Lightspeed Rescue, and the nature of Rancic, who was sort of like the main antagonist, and he hated being like the way he was. He hated looking like a freak and being sort of an outcast. So him becoming a terrorist before he redeemed himself at the end was just magnificent. Batman Forever was a decent movie. I know we're getting the
Yeah.
Schumacher cut to some extent, but like it's all right. It's certainly better than Batman and Robin, though. Then we got Captain America: The First Avenger, which is a great movie. I think people prefer Winter Soldier and, of course, the garbage it is, Civil War, but I prefer something like First Avenger because it felt natural. It felt like
Yeah, that's true.
it reminded me when Phase One was more than just about trying to get all the attention, but more so just be its own. Like it had its own room, basically.
Yeah. I mean, I really fell in love with all the atmosphere, that the music also gives you, Dun, dun, da-da-da-da-da. The leitmotif is great. Well, I really love it. And all these stories that it was really, it was like kind of close what they were doing into the Mightiest Heroes, the Avengers show. I mean,
Oh man, I want to
it
review
was
that
kind of,
one.
yeah. We need to talk about that show too, huh? We need to
Yeah,
talk about that.
we definitely have a lot to catch up
Definitely.
on. Hopefully before the year ends, like I say.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
all right. After that, we got back to like four subject matters with episode 25. We pretty
With
much talked about the Ayer cut, or Suicide Squad, which, much like with the Snyder cut, we just talked about what we wanted from there for the Ayer cut.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Suicide well, not that well. Suicide Squad, yes, that. I mean, was a really it was entertaining movie, but it feels off. To be honest, I don't know. It's like something I will pass, or I will watch it while I'm doing anything else. But of course, David Ayers deserve, to telling his story, and why not? I mean, people say no, we don't even want an Ayer cut. Why an Ayer cut?
Well,
I mean,
to that I say, if you don't want an haircut, then you better support the fuck out of the Suicide Squad because it's bombing in theaters. And don't give me that, oh, but it's doing well in HBO Max crap because you're going to ignore the success of the Snyder Cut. We're going to ignore the success of that shit.
yeah.
Ah, boy. But yeah, haircut, please, Winker Boomers. Halo Combat Evolved,
What about Halo?
great video game back then,
Okay.
even though we didn't grow up with it. But it's still great to watch, to play either way. It was definitely from a time
Yeah.
period when the developers were showing their passion towards the project. Like, I don't hate the new stuff as much as other people do, apart from Guardians, because that they wanted to make sort of like a new guy get all the attention, but sidelining Master
Hmm.
Chief. But Combat Evolved was definitely the perfect way to delve into Halo spirit. It has a personality to it. The characters are awesome, even if most of them they're going to get attention are from the Covenant or especially Master fucking Chief. I mean, he is the star of the series.
And it's an
And
iconic character also now with the pop
yeah, even if you're not
popular
like
culture. I mean,
even if you're not like a Halo fan, you can still definitely appreciate how badass Master Chief is in general.
yeah.
He's just very like like the modern take of like action heroes. He's different from your Duke Nukems and Doom guys, but at the same time, he's very like distinct and iconic. Although it's kind of funny to look back when people used to in the 2000s used to like try to shit on Mario by uplifting Master Chief, but I think they'd be buddies in general, aside from Smash.
Yeah.
Nintendo, make your last Smash reveal, your last Smash fighter have Master Chief in it, please. Not as a skin, but as a full-on playable character. You can do that for You can do that for like not Conquer, Banjo Kazooie. You can do the same thing for Master Chief. Kingdom War for Cybertron sucks. X Men 2 does not suck.
Of course not.
Yeah, it's definitely a great way to look back on X Men 2 because it was from a time period where it was mostly just about like doing like feeling like it was adapting a specific storyline, but it didn't feel like it at the same time. It felt original. It was a great way to
Yeah.
expand on the world we were in with the X Men characters, and like it's one of the best X Men movies out there. Although I prefer something like Days of Future Past, X2 is still a great way for us to go further from what we had before. Even if The Last Stand sort of ruined things in certain ways,
Mm,
the original trilogy is
yeah.
quite an experience overall that I can't forget about. So yeah, awesome enjoyment.
And then here we are, the 1 year anniversary
What
episode 26.
what a trip it was. I think the best thing about it is how we've been stuck together with this for so long. But I
Yeah.
am sad that not everyone got to like stick around with us. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes the time zone and the country as well. Sometimes is difficult, but we try. To
yeah.
stay here and talk the topics that we love.
But it's even sadder when two of the co-hosts have been missing for quite some time. F Dog has been absent since like 2020, and I'm kind of worried about his safety because like no one has reached like we try to reach out to him, but no one has heard from him. I can only hope that he's doing well
uh, yeah.
because
Same.
I know he has a job, and I know that it was said that he had like that rough time with school. I can't blame him. I had a similar experience, but I do hope he's doing all right. As for Eternal, unfortunately, he had to prioritize his health, as he had to go
Yeah,
through surgery to help him recover from his anorexia. I can only hope once again that he recovers. That's his main priority.
for sure.
He's not required to come back to the podcast. What matters more is that he has a much better health condition. So, to the ones that have been gone for so long, thank you for being our co-hosts. It's not going to be the same without you guys.
It's always a pleasure, as I said, always.
We may have guest appearances and we may have new members fill in the spots, but let's not make that mean that anyone's anyone's replaceable, because there'll never be another Tops 26. There'll never be another Freds. There'll never be another Avdog. There'll never be another DC Eternal. There'll never be another Quantum Surge. There's only one of each. And that's the main theme of the podcast, because there'll never ever be another podcast like us. There'll never ever be another sort of co-host, group set, or an interest in topics. We are, no matter how far away we are, no matter how long we'll be on, the JustUs Podcast. And depending on how long you've been with us, thank you for watching these videos. We hope to see you in some capacity for the next episode. But until then, be safe, be happy, and never give up on your stuff.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's always a pleasure to be here. Well, unless all the difficulties, but it's always great to talk with you, bro. Well, people who always stay here and listen to us, we really appreciate that, and all the stuff. Well, all the team of the JustUs Podcast, I'm really happy to be here and celebrating the 1 year anniversary, and we're here as long as we can.
So, here's to another year and beyond of the JustUs Podcast. Until next time, take care.
See you.